Peace, love, and prosperity to all of humanity on planet Earth. I am Bill Smith Bay. I'm your host for this evening, or every evening in which we have these classes. So last week we continued with the read of the United Nations Charter, right? And so what's the attempt here? The attempt is, I guess, twofold or maybe even threefold, but the main two reasons is one, it's not the devil, as we've all been taught, right? That the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Illuminati created the United Nations to take over the world, enslave all of humanity. With the blue helmet troops coming in and rounding people up, right, putting them in concentration camps and slave camps. And I think thus far we have proven that that's furthest from the truth, and that also proves our incompetence as a people, including myself, by following what others were saying and not going to the source to verify what was being said. And the source is the United Nations themselves, right? Their charter. What is it that their charter say? Because the charter governs the activity of the organization. As such, that's where you'll find out what it is that they're truly all about, not based on opinions from others. And that proves our lack of competence because we buy into these narratives without the proper research. And there is no better research than to go to the accused themselves, right? And so they have a charter that breaks down what it is that they're all about, to include the preamble, which we will be reminded of the preamble here in a second when we get to the read. And then the other reason for going over the United Nations, the Moors, the Moorish Americans who are ignorant and arrogant with their ignorance, because they never were taught this. Not ignorant in a sense to disrespect them, is, I'm ignorant of the full operation of technological equipment. That doesn't mean that I'm stupid. I'm just ignorant to that particular subject matter, right? Well, Moorish Americans are ignorant to the subject matter of international law and statehood, period. However, they're arrogant with their ignorance, and they think they know it all. They think that the point, the degrees that they have reached, that's the end of it. So therefore, there's nothing else to learn, right? Well, then you'll never learn anything because you have maxed out, right? You're at your peak. Well, anyone who uh, gain an understanding of what's being taught, right? Your intelligence begins where the Moorish Americans peak at. Very interesting. My intelligence begins where yours peaks at. That was a line from Cannabis. Side note, it just kind of hit me because I guess it came out subconsciously. Anyhow, um, but so going over the read of the United Nations charters to show how it can be utilized to our advantage to decolonize, right? 80 territories prior to, in the 1960s, had already decolonized. What did that do? It gave us a roadmap. It gave us a guide. It set precedents. And not only that, but it also lets us know that decolonization is possible. I mean, if 80 territories did it, why can't we? Keeping in mind that those 80 territories that decolonized, they didn't have treaties such as the Act of Algeciras, which, by the way, so y'all know, in certain societies, American societies, it's referred to as the Act. That's how they refer to it. And same as the Madrid Convention, they call it the Convention, right? Whenever you hear the Convention, they're talking about the Madrid Convention, the Treaty of Madrid, 1880. Whenever you hear them refer to it as the Act, they're referring to the Act of Algeciras of 1906. And so these are the reasons why we're going over the charter to determine, is it true that the United Nations is the devil? And also, two, to determine, can we use the United Nations for our liberation? And why, I'm going to ask the floor, why is it that we can use the United Nations for our salvation? what's the key factor that gives us our liberation, our freedom from colonialism by utilizing the United Nations? Can anyone answer that?
They're in Morocco.
Great, good answer, but wrong answer.
We checked all the boxes
We checked all the boxes,
and created a state.
created a state. Exactly.
Yeah. You don't get access to international law until you participate as a state.
Exactly. Thank you, Sister Mariama. Thank you, Sister Nova. Yeah, Sister Mariama, I got you. I got your voice. All right, so I want to dedicate this class to the good brother, Cujo Adwo Ale of Canaan Land Moors, which he's from Canada, and he has misnomered the land as Canaan land. That's not the name of the land. The land is Canada. And so today, excuse me, today is Sunday, 26th. He made a live video. He made a live video in which he was basically giving pushback to the information that the WRC has been teaching regarding decolonization. But specifically in regards to his video, the subject matter was dealing with the United Nations, the ICC, and the ICJ, as attempting to make the point that those aren't viable remedies to accomplish decolonization. And then my question to that good brother would be, well, then what's a viable remedy? Because if you're going to tell me that the viable remedy is the Holy Quran and the Moorish Temple of America, well, that remedy has been in existence for the past 94 years. What's the results? It's so bad that the temples are still flying the American flag, the Star-Spangled Banner flag. The red flag with the five-pointed star, that's not the national flag, sir. Or correction, it is a national flag, but not the national flag of the temple or the empire. It's the national flag of the Kingdom of Morocco. And even if you wanted to say that, even if assuming that the Kingdom of Morocco did not claim the flag in their constitution, Article 4, it still wouldn't be a national flag, sir. The reason why is because it would actually be an empire flag. You see the mismatch, you see the misinformation, you see the misconcepts. So this class is dedicated to you, Cujo, and what I'd like for you to do, my good brother, first of all, I'd like to thank you for promoting us, because we need the promotion. I saw your video. I was in the chat. I was lighting up your chat. Yes, I certainly was. But the problem here is you are ignorant to international law and statehood. That's nothing that none of the Moorish Americans ever studied. All y'all study is the U.S. Constitution, and it's interesting that you study the U.S. Constitution because you live where? In Canada. So it sounds like you should be enforcing the Canadian Constitution, sir. You see the ignorance? Anyway, and that's all you guys. That's all you guys work with is internal municipal laws of the same international organization that you refer to as a corporation. The U.S. is a corpse. Okay, my bad. So you want to enforce the original Constitution of the Republic? Well, guess what, sir? The United States of America and its Constitution have no three branches of government. It's in a shallow grave, right next to the Empire of Morocco, sir. So the only thing else left is the United States corporation that you have to work with as a citizen, because you are a citizen, but you're a citizen of Canada, not the United States or the United States of America. You are Canadian with a Jamaican accent, which is interesting. I appreciate it nonetheless. So this class here, I'd like for you to take the time to go through these reference points, and when next time you get the urge to do a slander video, by all means, pull up the reference points that we are providing and go through that as a means or a way to reject or give pushback on the information that we're providing the people. Because see, that's true scholarship, sir. That's true scholarship. In your class, you was bringing up articles. Well, in our class, we bring up treaties and international law based in well-settled principles. See, the Moors are too indoctrinated to study literature, books, Qurans, Bibles, dictionaries, but they're not conditioned and they never learn to study international law, treaties, resolutions, conventions. You see the difference? Do you see the difference, Brother Cujo? I'm talking to you, sir. So please, everyone share this video. Make sure Brother Cujo gets it. And I do mean good brother, because I don't see him as a bad guy. However, I do see him as a lost soul, an ignorant brother who's arrogant on his stance, right? Closed-minded, but that appears to be the imprint of most of our Moorish American people. But that's what you call indoctrination. That's what you call animal husbandry. And before I get into the read here, I like to say this real quick. I've been in the movement for 10 years. The first 8 was as a Moorish American, and I was a major follower of Cujo Adwo. Very familiar with him and his platform, because I learned a lot from the good brother, you know. And one of the things that I definitely learned, and it's all over his YouTube platform, especially the earlier videos, was about the schism and the sellout that took place after the prophet was assassinated. And one of his complaints was that the temples have never been cleaned up. Okay, so let me get this right. So the temples have been infiltrated, split 3 ways, right? It has never been cleaned up. Yet you speak and act as if it's in its proper order, right? Saying things like, you know, we should only study what the prophet brought and nothing else. We need to stick to that for our salvation. Maybe you would have a point if the temple had been cleaned up, or if there hadn't been an FBI infiltration, the FBI papers, the Maccabees, or whatever you call that paper, all these things where it identifies Colonel C. Kirkman Bey as one of the infiltrators, right? So if it hasn't been cleaned up, then intelligence would tell you that you must read Prophet Noble Jew Ali's literature with caution and discernment to identify what's truth and what's falsehood. Because as Noble Jew Ali has already taught us, sir, truth and falsehood are strangely mixed. And this is how you ended up with the term Moorish American, sir, because the truth is that you are descendants of Moroccans, right? Or key 15 of the 101s. And here comes the falsehood, born in America. But it's not even really a falsehood. It's a misinterpretation from the Moorish Americans, because born means naturalized. So you a Moroccan who was naturalized in American jurisdiction, i.e. born in America, which then makes you a Moorish American. So if you want to relate that to a German American, well, let's help you with that, sir. A German child, a child of a German who was born in America, is a descendant of Germans, born naturalized in America, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Peoples in the United States of America, the United States jurisdiction, are born naturalized. That's what the naturalization was all about, which is why everyone, including white people, so-called, the Ibayans, whatever you want to call them, everyone's name appears in all caps in all their instruments. Because everyone is born naturalized, sir. And so I'll say it again. So a German couple moves to the United States, take up citizenship with the United States, denounces their citizenship with Germany. They become German Americans, right? By choice, right? By application. A friendly application has to have been submitted. and then their child that was born in American jurisdiction with an American birth certificate in an American hospital, they become Americans, but they're descendants of Germans. So then, therefore, that's why they become German Americans, sir. Now, if they decide that they had enough with American laws, all they have to do is renounce their citizenship and move back to Germany. Okay, that's called repatriating, right? So what is the process for the Moors to repatriate from their naturalized status? Choose between the entire submission to the laws of the empire. Article 15 of the Treaty of Madrid. You have to go back into Moroccan jurisdiction, sir. However, in today's political landscape, the Moroccan Empire has been in a shallow grave. So therefore, up until now, there wasn't a Moorish competent authority to go repatriate back to. So then what's the only other thing left, sir? It's to build or establish the government yourself. It's called self-determination. And we're not stopping there. We're also going as far as to bring back the empire and the sultan, sir. So now we have defined the jurisdictions, the American jurisdiction and the Moroccan jurisdiction. And now all the Moorish Americans will have to make a choice. Either they're going to remain American or come back to the Moroccan jurisdiction. But to remain American, you must get permission and consent from the government, the Moroccan government, right? And then the Moroccan government would then, through that friendly application, accept your denunciation, and now you can be an American all you want to be. But don't complain about the cares of the world, because Article 15 is highlighted on your 101 for Moorish children. I highlight the word children for a reason. Okay, right? So Noble Jew Ali is stepping out of the cares of the world, which is the sea, maritime law, American law, municipal law, right? Admiralty and maritime law. And he's stepping onto the rock of salvation. He's going into Moroccan jurisdiction, sir, carrying the woman. So in that picture, he is choosing between the entire submission to the laws of the empire, which is exactly what you and all the other Moorish Americans and all the Black people, Negroes, colors, African Americans are supposed to do. And let's point it out here so that you could do us a favor, like I said, right? And show it in your class. So let's go to the convention. Where is it? Oops, not that one, not that convention. Let's see. Help you out here for a second, sir. You see, I study. You see, that's why I have all these tabs up. Things that you've never seen. However, you want to give pushback without the proper reference point. That's called incompetence. That's called ignorance. And it certainly is not scholarship. So here's Article 15. As you see up here, right of protection in Morocco, July 3rd, 1880. Put this on your screen, sir, and talk about it with your constituents. And let's examine the article. So it says, any subject of Morocco who has been naturalized, we've all been naturalized, in a foreign country. What's the foreign country? The United States of America, the United States. And who shall return to Morocco shall, after having remained for a length of time equal to that which shall have been regularly necessary for him to obtain such naturalization. So we got naturalization on here. One. Oops. Let's highlight naturalization or naturalized, right? You got naturalized here. You got naturalization here, right? You got naturalization here, right? Because we had been naturalized, sir. You got naturalization here. So in one article, you got the word or the term naturalized or naturalization 4 times. So let's finish it up. Choose between entire submission to the laws of the empire and the obligation to quit Morocco unless it shall be proved that his naturalization and a foreign country was obtained with the consent of the government of Morocco. So you must get consent to remain naturalized, Cujo. So since you're an American and you are Canadian and you want to remain naturalized because that's who your people are or whatever you claim, you got to get permission. Any Moorish American who thinks that they're an American and you want to remain in American jurisdiction, you got to get permission. Now, that's paragraph 1. Paragraph 2 is the most important, sir, and pay attention to this. Foreign naturalization heretofore acquired by subjects of Morocco, right? So heretofore, in case you don't know, Cujo, means going forward, sir, right? So foreign naturalization going forward acquired by subjects of Morocco, according to the rules established by the laws of each country, shall be continued to them as regards all its effects without any restriction, sir. So all the laws of the United States, the American jurisdiction, the American laws that you remain under because you think you're an American, well, no worries. The laws of America shall be on you, basically, right? Shall apply to you, right? Without any effects or any restrictions, brother. Right? So this is why you end up with Trayvon Martin. This is how you end up with Rodney King and George Floyd and et cetera, right? Amongst many other injustices, because we as a people have ignored this ruling of paragraph 1. It's a ruling, it's a mandate. So do you know how I know it's a ruling or a mandate, Cujo? Well, let me show you here, Cujo. You know about this document because your master teacher, Taj Tariq Bey, has spoke about this document quite a few times, which is the expatriation document dealing with Mr. Hoffman Phillip, right? Talking to Mr. Root, correct? You're very familiar with that. Your master teacher taught you about this, but your master teacher doesn't go in depth about what this document really is all about. Here, writing Article 15 of the Treaty of Madrid, sir. You see how it says it up here, Cujo? Pay attention. Stop sucking your thumbs. Pay attention. I'm talking to you. Okay? There you go. It was established by the Convention of Madrid, concluded July 3rd, 1880, as follows, Article 15. But what is he referring to? Let's go back up. Moorish subjects lost their nationality. Isn't nationality the order of the day, Cujo? Oh, okay, I thought so. Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. Well, what country has treaty relations with the Moorish Empire? The United States, sir. And you all know about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship because y'all, that's the only treaty y'all familiar with, right? So he goes in and he reaffirms what I just read to you, Cujo. Good brother Cujo ill, right? And then what did he go on to say after that? The above ruling, it was a ruling, it was a mandate from the Sultan. The above ruling has never yet been acted upon because we remain subjugated, man. We remained, right, in a subject status as Moorish subjects under the misnomers of Negro, Blacks, Coloreds, African Americans, and don't forget Moorish American, because that too is a subjugated status. You're claiming America in the name for crying out loud. You have America in your national name. And you wonder why the atrocities happen upon our people. Moorish American, African American, Black American. We have been adopted and we have been given the last name of American with the first names of Moor, if you're talking about being a Moorish American. You must understand these principles, Cujo, and pass this on to your constituents. So if you want to make more slander videos, do it in a competent way, brother. And the competent way to do that is to pull out the information that we are presenting and contradict that. Because we didn't write any of this. What did happen, however, was written by the Sultan and the colonists, but we were made privy to it because they had us too busy in the damn temples praying and singing slave songs like Amazing Grace. And if your temple is a civic temple, cool. But guess what? It still hasn't it still has not adhered to the ruling of Article 15, good brother. So sit back, grab a bag of popcorn, and pay attention to this class, sir, because this class is indeed dedicated to you. Now, so we're talking about the United Nations and the Charter, right? Weapons being burnt during the official launch of the disarmament, demobilization, rehabilitation, and reintegration process in Muramvia, Burundi, right? Burundian military signed up voluntarily to be disarmed under the auspices of UN peacekeepers, right? And so that's why you see all these weapons being burned. And I'm pointing out disarmament for a reason. I'll get to it. It's a method to the madness, y'all. Can I have a nice, clean reader to help me read this document so that Cujo can get some understanding? We're teaching Cujo here right now. This class is for Cujo. Can someone read for me, please?
Since the birth of the United Nations, the goals of multilateral disarmament and arms limitation have been central to the organization's effort to maintain international peace and security.
Mm-hmm.
The UN has given highest priority to reducing and eventually eliminating nuclear weapons, destroying chemical weapons, and strengthening the prohibition of biological weapons, all of which pose the direct threats to humankind. While these objectives have remained constant over the years, the scope of deliberations and negotiations has changed as political realities and the international situations has evolved. The international community continues to consider more closely the excessive and destabilizing proliferation of small arms and light weapons and has mobilized to combat the massive deployment of landmines, instruments that threaten the economic and social fabric of societies and kill and maim civilians, all too many of whom are women and children.
Stop right there, please. Stop right there, please. So, I mean, one thing about me, I love principles of honor. My favorite scene in all movies, the best scene of all movies, is the scene when Scarface was supposed to kill this guy, but his wife and his children were in the car, and because of his morals and principles, he refused to do so. And he said, no women and children, right? And so the United Nations, thus far what we've read is the United Nations doing all that they can, right, to bring an end to nuclear war. Really, war all in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It really is on nuclear war because according to this article, nuclear weapons are the most dangerous weapons on planet Earth. And the only way to keep those weapons from being deployed and injuring women and children is to disarm. But then it also points out the challenges, or that it's been a challenge to complete disarmament. Why has there been such a difficult time why has the United Nations have such a difficult time in bringing forward disarmament? We will answer that question in a second. Let's continue reading.
There's also wider recognition that all types of weapons impact women, men, boys, and girls differently. The UN is also focusing on the impact of new information, telecommunications technologies, and other emerging technologies on international security. Through global efforts, several multilateral treaties and instruments have been established with the aim of regulating, restricting, or eliminating certain weapons. These include the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, the Biological and Chemical Weapons Convention, the Anti-Personnel Landmine Convention, the Convention on Cluster Munitions, the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, and the Arms Trade Treaty. Nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. Nuclear weapons are the most dangerous weapons on Earth. One can destroy a whole city, potentially killing millions and jeopardizing the natural environment and lives of future generations through its long-term catastrophic efforts. The dangers from which such weapons arise.
That we got to make sure that that's very important. It says catastrophic effects. Not yeah. All right, continue.
The dangers from such weapons arise from their very existence. Although nuclear weapons have only been used twice in warfare, about 13,080 reportedly remain in our world today, and there have been over 2,000 nuclear tests conducted to date. Disarmament is the best protection against such dangers, but achieving this goal has been a tremendously difficult challenge.
Stop right there. I want to ask the floor. Why has disarmament been a tremendously difficult challenge? Give me your opinion at least.
All the more asleep. No government.
Okay.
Smuggling of arms.
You said smuggling of arms? Hold on, somebody smuggling of arms?
Smuggling of arms.
Because the United States is on both sides selling them.
Sure. Who said, that's a good answer as well. Who said about the smuggling?
Oh, Luis de la Vega.
Islam, brother. Islam, brother. Peace, brother. Islam, hold on.
Peace, brother. Islam.
So I got three answers. One is the Moors. Another one.
Yeah, hold on.
Was that? So we have three answers. One is Moors, right? We're not in place. The other one is smuggling. The other answer was dealing with the United States being involved on both sides. Do I have another answer?
Yes. All the Security Council members have nuclear arms, and always broke down any resolution about the nuclear arms. They're in control of it. They can veto any of the resolutions.
Islam was here. Okay. That's those are what, four answers, five answers, all of them excellent.
I would like to offer at the lowest common denominator is it's based on fear, and the fear factor is what motivates one to want to control the planet, whether it's through genocide or otherwise, and then you have others who want to have a defense against the same thing, which is still all based in fear. I yield.
Appreciate that, brother.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Well, my question is, why shouldn't we want to defend ourselves and have the proper faculties and materials to defend ourselves against other such entities? Tell me why, because everybody's giving me an answer of why we should know, why we should disarm. But if we're a nation or becoming a nation or are a nation, why shouldn't we be able to defend ourselves with the most highest technologies?
Excellent question. Who's asking this question?
This is Noble Son.
Noble Son in the time, brother. Excellent question.
Peace.
Okay. Let me do this. All the answers were excellent and correct. But then in that process, we got a question as to why would we go with that and not maintain our guns or weapons of war, which we don't have.
Because
And that's a great question.
the peacemakers are the peacemakers are the children of God, and that's what's up. Sorry.
Why wouldn't we want to defend ourselves? Why wouldn't we want to protect ourselves? Because we're talking about people that are not like-minded, right? Ducks associate with ducks. You know, pigs associate with pigs. You know, so we're talking about state of mind, a state. This is the whole conversation about a state. So in all respects to a state, right? Why would we want to not defend ourselves?
I get that. I'm following you, brother. I'm not ignoring you. I'm getting somewhere, and you know, I get the question. Trust me, I do. I'm not ignoring you. I love the question. I'm getting to it. Trust me. So I wanted to ask the floor specifically, one of the Wazirs or anyone who's part of the WRC, if they would like to go ahead and touch on that question before I go into details.
Peace and prosperity, everybody. I'm not one of the WRC, but this is Brother Shamu Nasiel. Peace and prosperity, health and wellness, and ancestry protection to everybody.
I missed you, man. I missed you, Brother Shamu. Go ahead.
I'm of the opinion of the brother who's asking the question, but you know, I listened to the sister read the entire well, what you had her to read. The nuclear weapons, in my opinion, is a shiny object, because if you read and listen to the whole act, it's talking about conventional weapons as well. That's what we are. Okay, we're not militarized, as the brother said. We don't have the highest weapons, right? We're not there, but we do have conventional weapons, right? I live in the South. We love them. So what I'm saying is, and it's all right, by the way. But what I'm saying is, when you start talking about, you know, making the world safe, the whole picture have to be talked about, because they're not just talking about de-escalation and denuclearization. They're also talking about coming into our states, our operations, and taking conventional weapons, right? And I'm not, you know, I wasn't born to give up my protection. I wasn't born to not protect my family as best I can, right? So I'll stop at that. But I heard some more. I heard the nuclear, and that's where everybody's afraid. As the one brother said, you know, fear. But when it comes down to me protecting my zone, the conventional part, the conventional snatch is what, you know, worries me. I yield.
All right, it's wrong. Back to what I asked just a minute ago. Does any of the Wazirs or any of the executive staff want to answer these questions and concerns?
Yeah, point of interest. And this is in relation to the brother Noble Son question. You know, what colonization is all about has everything to do with the military, i.e. the guns. So when we're decolonizing, that's the first point of interest, in which when we take them to the ICJ, we have certain things lined up, such as this Act of Algeciras, which tells everybody, the whole world, who will have control of the arms in this situation, in our standpoint. And so based off of this treaty, since this stands true, that means that we would have to enact laws that treaty. So once certain laws are in place saying, hey, this is how arms are going to work here, we take them to the ICJ, right? And as far as arms, well, that's dependent on the laws of the state. for the laws of United States and Morocco that's currently forming.
All right.
So in a general sense, that I yield with that.
It's wrong. I appreciate that, Wazir, and President of the Trusteeship Council of the WRC. You mentioned a term that's on the screen. The Act of Algeciras answers all your questions, Brother Noble One, and Brother Shamu. Where was I? So let's okay. As you see here, General Act of the International Conference.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think you gave it to someone else.
Oh, dang on. All right, let me look. So as you see here, General Act of the International Conference of Algeciras signed April 7th, 1906. So this document here that we're looking at is the Act of Algeciras. All right. Let me go back and fix this whole situation. What happened? Oh, yeah, I did. My bad. Remove co-host. Okay. Now let me find the good brother Hakeem Bey, which, by the way, y'all, they had Pujo highlighted the part that I see. He highlighted brother Hakeem Bey's video, doing an excellent job explaining about the United Nations. Okay, host now, good brother. Thank you for your assistance. All right. So this is the Act of Algeciras, right? And the Act of Algeciras is composed of seven chapters. So chapter 1, the declaration relative to the organization of the police. So what's the police? Y'all think it's limited to just the deputy riding around internally? No, it also represents the military. So it is a declaration relative to the organization of the police. For what? The peace and prosperity of the Empire of Morocco. And it's all in sequential order. Chapter 2, a regulation concerning the detection and repression of the contraband of arms. Okay? So we control the military, we control the arms. I think just with that alone, I think I've answered both of your questions, but we're going to go further. 3, an act of concession for a Moroccan state bank to control the banking system. Chapter 4, a declaration concerning a better return of taxes and the creation of new revenues. So we control the taxes and we control new revenues coming into the empire. Okay. Chapter 5, a regulation concerning the customs of the empire and the repression of fraud and smuggling. The brother was asking about smuggling guns, right? So we control the customs of the empire, meaning the ports, etc., and fraud and smuggling of items, things, guns, anything else, right? And then finally, chapter 6,
7 ports of commerce, correct?
What was that?
Brother Abdul, is that the 7 ports of commerce?
I'm sorry, say that again?
The 7 ports of commerce?
Oh, yes, exactly. Correct.
Thank you.
All the ports. That gives access to for commercial activity within the empire. So bringing goods in or out, import or export is commercial activity, right? And then chapter 6, a declaration relative to public services and public works. So it's six chapters, but then it also goes into the protocols, right? Which makes it essentially 7, but it's really 6. All right, so Article 1 states that the conference was summoned by His Majesty the Sultan to pronounce on the measures necessary to organize the police, declares that the following provision should be made. Off top, Article 1 is talking about controlling the military. So if we control the military, then that means we have the authority and the full powers that's found in good and due form to enact legislation to convert the U.S. Army to what? The Moroccan Army.
Moroccan Army.
Okay. Now, The police shall be under the sovereign authority of His Majesty the Sultan. It shall be recruited by the Moxin from Moorish Mohammedans, commanded by Moorish Cades, and distributed in the 8 ports open to commerce. So it's 8 ports actually. I didn't write this. J. Bay didn't write this. None of the Wazirs wrote this. Nobody didn't write it. No, nobody in the WRC wrote this. Right? And the Moors certainly weren't aware of this. So why are we dealing with police brutality when we have control over the police? Because we've been acquiescing. And we were acquiescing by design because we were sold out by our own in fezzes and turbans, and even those who claim to be spiritual leaders who are Negroes, etc. So this is not the point. Let me go to the point. It's the reason why we started off with disarmament. Now I'm going to answer your question, Brother Shamu. Now I'm going to answer your question, Brother Noble One. See, the United Nations is operating based on the principles of Moroccan law, specifically the principles of the Act of Algeciras. So they are actually acting on our behalf because we are not there. We have not taken our place in the affairs of men to control disarmament. We control disarmament, and through the control of disarmament, we maintain control of the arms. Does that answer your question, Brother Noble One? Tell me yes or no. I'm all ears.
But it also maintains the peace, correct?
Yeah. It's up to us to maintain the 5 principles of light, good brother. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. How do you maintain love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice on planet Earth? By maintaining control of the arms of war and the military.
Being fair and equal as well, right?
Exactly. That's what it's all about. It's about being in your higher self to ensure that everything is fair and equal. But we haven't been in place to make sure that this happens, sir, my good brother. Why haven't we been in place to make sure that this happens? Because we've been sold out by our own in fezzes and turbans and others who claim to be spiritual leaders, etc. Our own. Because the colonists, the white man, he signed this treaty, which means he gave up the rights. Let me show y'all something real quick before we go into these articles, because I got some articles picked out that we need to take a look at. But let me go to the preamble real quick. I want to show you something in the preamble that I've already shown before. Where is it? Here it is. Inspired by the interest attaching itself to the reign of order, peace, and prosperity in Morocco, and recognizing that the attainment thereof can only be effected by means of the introduction of reforms based upon the triple principle. Tried to highlight it. Let me try one more time. The triple principle. What are the triple principles? Right? Sovereignty and independence of His Majesty the Sultan, the integrity of his domains without any inequality, right? So the colonists, along with the Arab Sultan, signed over their rights back to the Moors through the Act of Algeciras as the triple principle, giving us back the to come back into power, sovereignty and independence, enact laws, integrity of domains, and collect the taxes, economic liberty without any inequality. So what did we do as competent Moroccan government officials? What did we do? Let me show you what we did. And I'm just gonna highlight it. Excuse me, my bad. Let's see, where was I? Where is it? Oh, I know where it's at. My bad. I was already there. Nope, that's not it. Over here. Okay. So let me show y'all what we did. Where is it? All these tabs. Give me 1 second here. I gotta find it. I just had it up. I was just reading it. Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it. Where is it? Where did I lose it at? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna find it. I'm pulling it up.
That was a beautiful seal, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate that, my good brother.
Owl sitting up front, see everything in the dark.
What was that?
I said the owl sitting up front.
Oh, yes.
The owl sees everything in the dark.
I know where it is. The owl sees everything. Exactly. It's all-seeing animal. Here it is. My bad. I was looking in the wrong spot. It represents the wisdom of the Moors. So what does this say?
I was about to say that. The old wise owl.
No doubt. That's what it represents. So what does that say, y'all? The Triple Principle Bill of Rights. So we have written legislation affirming and upholding, right? This comes from AMPAG. AMPAG are the beacons of light. So we've already converted it. So what you're looking at here is the draft version. The completed one has already been passed and enacted. I just happen to have this one up. So instead of looking for it, I just pulled this up because it's all the same nonetheless. We're all in this together. So AMPAG, Alodia, Morris Parade, Monte, Colorado, right? They are the beacons of light. They are the ones who are, how do I put it? Leading this movement behind the scenes and assisting us in all the several states with legislation, writing of legislation, amongst many other things, right? So, and what you see here is the constitutional procedures of enacting laws. This process, this procedure, ratified by the House of Dalil Aziz, ratified by the Wazir Reis on such and such date with the dates, notification to the United Nations Secretary General on such date, notification to the United States and Colorado on such and such date, right? In our case is Georgia, and whoever else's cases is the state that they have reclaimed, right? Whether it be New Mecca, right? Maru, right? That's Oregon or Indiana. So that means that they would put the governor of those territories on notice as well. Okay. Then number 5, notification to the Wazir Regional Council, right? Entered into full force and effect on such and such date, and then promulgated by the Wazir on such and such date. This is the constitutional procedures of enacting laws, right? That gives it the power, the force of law to be able to enforce it, you see? And so so I'll just read the preamble. The Triple Principle Bill of Rights is a declaration of preemptory norms, just cogents, for the Moorish state governments on behalf of the Empire of Morocco and its Moroccan nationals. The subject matter of the Triple Principle gives secured recognition to the multilateral Act of Algeciras of 1906, which is what we were just reading, and the observance and application of the treaty's preamble as enshrined in the Triple Principle of substantive law. Wherefore, no derogation is permitted. Therefore, be it enacted by the House of Dalil Aziz assembled, that bill known as Title 18, Section 101 shall be cited as the Triple Principle Bill of Rights as follows, and it goes into the principles. So, Cujo, got a question for you, good brother. You listening? Because you're supposed to have been listening this whole time, sir. Could you tell me, or point to show your body of laws? And I'm not talking about the United States laws, and I'm certainly not talking about Canada's laws. I'm talking about Moorish American laws that came from your state, which your state is supposed to be what? The Moorish Science Temple of America? Well, let's see the body of laws that the Grand Sheiks were empowered, right, to make laws, right? That being Act 1. Okay, so let's see those laws. I'll wait.
Ashe.
That's a rhetorical question, because they don't have any laws, which means then you don't have a legal argument to stand on. Your legal argument, if you're seeking if you're dealing with jurisdictional issues, then that means that you should have your own laws. But if you're a citizen, then your legal argument would be the laws of the United States, the statutes of the United States. So if you use the statutes for your defense and you win, that means that you came as a citizen. And that's possible, right? But my question is, your own body of laws such as this, right? I like to see that. Okay, so that doesn't exist, so let's not waste time with Cujo on that one. Let's move on and get back to answering this question further. Sister, could you please, did I pass it up? Yep. Could you please read for me right here, chapter 2, regulations concerning the detection and repression of the contraband of arms, please. Cujo, please pay attention, sir. You're tumbling your thumbs. Let's pay attention. Go ahead, sister.
Article 13, throughout the Sharifian Empire, except in the cases specified by Articles 14 and 15, the importation and sale is forbidden of arms of war, parts of guns, ammunition of any nature, loaded or unloaded, powder, saltpeter, gun, cotton, nitroglycerin, and all compositions destined exclusively for the manufacture of ammunition.
Islam.
Article-
So what it say? Anything destined.
Mm-hmm.
Exclusive manufacturer of ammunition, anything, all of it. And what is it? How does it start off though? Let's go back. Let's highlight that. Throughout what?
Sharifian Empire.
Which is the Moroccan Empire, which is the Empire of Morocco, which is the Moorish Empire. All synonyms, all synonymous to one another. No different than Moor, Moroccan, Morocco, and Moorish. They're all synonymous to one another. None of which you find the term America. Right? So throughout the empire, except in cases specified by Article 14 and 15, the importation and sale is forbidden of arms of war, parts of guns, ammunition of any nature, loaded or unloaded powder, saltpeter, gun cotton, nitroglycerin, and all compositions destined exclusively for the manufacture of ammunition. This is the reason why the United Nations is talking about this. To further answer your question, noble one, that's our job. Everybody else on planet Earth doing our job while we over here singing and praying in temples and churches and mosques and wasting time with NAACP type of organizations and HBCU, so on and so forth, any and everything but government and statehood and your own constitutions and treaties and international law. That's not the subject matter for Black people or Moorish Americans. At best, when it comes on to scholarship, it's all about literature. Well, I cannot bring an Ivan Van Sertima book into a court. I can't bring a J.A. Rogers book into court. It's not admissible. It's not law. So why are we wasting our time with that crap? And they call you Negro anyway in those books. You don't have to read it with discernment. Oh, they mean Moors. It's foolish. Let's go ahead, sister. Article 14.
Article 14. Such explosives as are necessary for industry and public works may, however, be introduced. A regulation drawn up in the manner indicated by Article 18 shall determine the conditions under which their importation may be effected.
Okay, so you know, you got a bridge, you want to dredge, you want to dredge, or is that what they call it? Dredging? Somebody got to be muted. I'm not sure there's some check that out for me, brother Hakeem. Land has to be separated, and so explosives are necessary for things dealing with public works. So such explosives as are necessary for industry and public works may, however, be introduced. You see the type of control we got? We determine the reasons, and the reasons not for these weapons of war or anything of the type, of the sort, to be used, imported, so on and so forth. The United Nations spirit is found in the Act of Algeciras. Okay, sister, you may continue.
Article 15, the arms, parts of guns, and ammunition intended for the troops of His Sharifian Majesty shall be admitted after the fulfillment of the following formalities. A declaration signed by the Moorish Minister of War describing the...
Good question, sister. Where does the declaration come from?
It comes from the Sharifian Majesty, the Sharifian, the Moorish Minister of War.
There you go. Could you repeat that again?
The Moorish Minister of War.
Oh, so he didn't. It doesn't say the American Minister of War, does it?
Nope.
Moorish Minister of War. Well, then who are the Moors? What Moorish? Who are they? If it ain't us, because according to the Moorish Americans and Indian Aboriginal folks, we're American. Yeah, well, good luck with that, because this treaty is talking about Moors and the Moorish Minister of War. Understand, overstand, and understand. Or stand out in the cold as you've been all these years, centuries, actually. Go ahead, sister.
A declaration signed by the Moorish Minister of War describing the number and nature of such articles ordered abroad must be presented to the legation of the country of their origin, whose visa shall be affixed thereto.
Okay, what is a legation? We'll touch on that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
An argument.
No, legation. You saying that legation is an argument? No. We'll get into it. Go ahead, sister. Oh, go ahead.
I think a legation would be like a procedure, would be a part of a procedure that leads up to determination.
No, that's incorrect as well, brother. I appreciate your attempt, though.
Islam.
So it says a declaration signed by the Moorish Minister of War describing the number and nature of such articles ordered abroad must be presented to the legation of their origin. Whose visa shall be. Allow me to read.
Hold
on a second.
A group of officials.
It is
to be presented to.
But let me get to it. Y'all calm down, chill out, please. Allow me to whose visa shall be affixed thereto, right? So at this very moment, I just wanted to point that out, and I'm glad that it's on your minds, because we'll get to it in a second. Let's continue to read.
The passage through the customs of the cases and packages containing the arms and munitions delivered at the order of the Moorish government shall be effected upon the presentation.
Okay, so the passage through the customs of the cases and packages containing the arms and munitions delivered at the order of who?
The Moorish government.
Okay, not the American government. So what you gonna do? This is why you got to choose between the entire submission to the laws of the empire. You can't be both. You can't be an American and a Moor. Either you're going to be an American or you're going to be a Moor. So since y'all stand on American, then this right here, this treaty does not apply to you. Continuing. Number one,
of the aforesaid declaration. These are official documents. Like one, of the aforesaid declaration, 2, of the invoice indicating the number and weight of the packages and the number and kind of the arms and munitions contained therein. This document must be visaed by the
Yeah,
legation of the country of their origin,
stop
which will
there.
mark.
Here we go again. Right? This document must be vetoed by the legation of the country of their origin. That entire statement must be under, and I'm going to give you the explanation here in a second. Continue, sister.
Which will mark on the back the successive amounts previously passed through the customs. This visa will be refused when the order shall have been entirely delivered. Article 16, the importation of sporting and high-priced arms, parts of guns, cartridges loaded and unloaded is likewise forbidden. It may nonetheless be authorized. 1 degree for the strictly personal requirements of the importer. 2 degrees for supplying the gun shops authorized by Article 18.
Okay, continue.
That means Article 17, sporting and high-priced arms and the ammunition for the same will be admitted for the strictly personal requirements of the importer on presentation of a permit issued by the representative of the Moxon at Tangier.
Okay.
If the
So go ahead. You gonna ask something?
Yeah, Moxon, I know that's the Moroccan government.
That's correct. It's a government and state is the government and the Moroccan government, right? That's why you see it's highlighted, right? So it says permit issued by the representative of the Moxon. So why do you think that our Facebook page is called AMPAG Moxon? It literally states the same AMPAG government, right? And in the treaties, the parties must be known because it's a contract. So we're going with the party name of the contract, which is Moxon. Simple as that. In case anyone was wondering what Moxon meant, right? From Facebook, etc. Go ahead, sister, continue.
If the importer is a foreigner, this permit will only be granted at the request of his legation.
Okay, we'll stop right there and let's get to legation. Now, we talked about this expatriation document, talking about the ruling of Article 15 that we've been ignoring, which is why we've been suffering. So, sister, could you read what I have highlighted here?
American legation. Tangier, August. Legation.
Right? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right? So, let's see. What is a legation? A diplomatic minister, especially one below the rank of ambassador, and their staff. And then for an example, they said they placed a bomb on the train carrying the British legation to Istanbul, right? Then over here, under these pictures, it says a legation was a diplomatic representative office of lower rank than an embassy, where an embassy was headed by an ambassador, a legation was headed by a minister. Ambassadors outranked ministers and had precedence at official events. So that's what a legation is, right? So go back to what happened here.
Thought it was a dispute.
So going back, so you notice it talked about the country of origin, right? Let's go back. So it says if the importer is a foreigner, this permit would only be granted to at the request of his legation. If he's a foreigner, right? Then up here it says this document must be vetoed by the legation of the country of their origin, right? And up here it says must be presented to the legation of the country of their origin, right? Okay, so Hoffman Phillip was presenting this information to Mr. Root, who Mr. Root was stationed or present in the United States, right? While Mr. Phillip was in charge d'affaires, right? Which is less than an ambassador, or it's more like a minister. It's a French term. And he was reporting from the American legation. So that means then that the Americans, in order for them to import guns of any sort, saltpeter and all, they must get permission from the Moorish government through the legation of their country, which in this case will be who? The American legation. You see? Y'all follow what I'm saying? Tell me yes, tell me no.
Yes.
Y'all follow that? Yes? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, because why? The legation is a mission or a post in Tangiers at a body politic that was called the diplomatic body, right? The diplomatic body in Tangiers. And at the diplomatic in Tangiers, right? The diplomatic body in Tangiers has several posts or different legations for each foreign country, specifically the Christian nations, the European powers, the signatory powers. Therefore, you had an American legation, you had a German legation, Russian legation, British legation, French legation, right? Etc. And so if a German wanted to import guns into Morocco, they had to go through the Moorish, the Moxen, the Sharifian authorities, through their legation. So if you're German, you got to go through the German legation and the Moorish government. If you're French, you got to go through the French legation and the Moorish government. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the interpretation, which I've already gave this interpretation, but there's always new people, and it's always good to be redundant, like my master teacher Taj would say. Being redundant, but it's good to be redundant. Well, so am I, right? It's important to understand principles because it. Go ahead, brother.
I wouldn't say master teacher. He's a teacher for sure.
Okay, fair enough. Have you ever heard of the word sarcasm? Continuing on.
Okay. You got
Continuing on. So you see, what does it say down here? Diplomatic body attention. You see? So all of them had to report to the diplomatic body at their country of origin to get permission through the Moorish government to bring guns into the empire. I think I might have answered Brother Shamu and Brother Noble One's question even further. You got to understand the totality of this. Like Brother Shamu was saying, you must understand the totality of what it is that we're doing as a people, who we are as a people, what means what. We don't, Noble Ali said, if you change the literature, you change the people. Okay, well, we need to start learning terms like mission. What is a diplomatic body? What is a moxie? Oh, and by the way, the diplomatic body being that body politic that hosted, right, as the receiving state, somebody got to mute their mics, please. So that same concept is what was carried over to the League of Nations. And then from there, it dissolved itself and it became the more improved version, which is now the United Nations. And as you see, the United Nations is echoing the principles of the Act of Algeciras dealing with disarmament. So it's us who is supposed to be enforcing the treaty, and the United Nations reporting back to us about the results of the enforcement of the treaties. So the Secretariat of the United Nations, right? Secretary General, I should say, that's the correct term. Antonio Guterres is supposed to report to the Sultan of the Empire, but there is no Sultan and there is no empire yet. Key word, yet. All right. So that's delegation. That's the concept that we need to understand, and the historical events that shapes what the United Nations is today, so that we can fully comprehend and understand that this is the process, this is the answers to uplifting fallen humanity, because the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, how shall we inherit and govern the earth? Well, it already exists. It's called the United Nations. It's just that it's not under our control yet. But it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Talk about pandemonium. 2024 is going to be a quite interesting year. Sister, please continue with Article 18.
Article 18, the trade in sporting and high-priced arms, not rifled, of foreign manufacture, as well as of the ammunition appertaining to the same, shall be regulated as soon as circumstances permit by a Sharifian decision made in conformity with the advice of a majority, the diplomatic body at Tangier. This shall be the case as well with decisions intended to suspend or restrict exercise of such trade. Only such persons as have secured a special and temporary license from the Moorish government shall be allowed to open and operate retail shops for the sale of sporting guns and ammunition.
Okay, hold that right there. Many of y'all got guns, y'all got gats, y'all got sticks, right? Y'all got heaters, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all got 9 millis. Many of y'all out there, right? Where did you buy it from? A gun shop, such as a pawn shop, etc. Who gave them permission to sell guns in our land? Did they get permission from the Moorish government?
Nope.
All y'all with your heaters and your 9 million, your Glocks, your great Jolt, right? Did y'all know that you had control over the guns the whole time?
No.
But you over here asking the colonists for permission for license, right? We're supposed to license them. They're licensing us.
I can't even get a license.
Some of us can even get a license because of that's if you have a prior, a felony. And where you think they get that idea from? We will get to it. Oh, we will get to it. Right? So we out here gangbanging, shooting each other with because that, you know, now. So here's the thing: most of these gangbangers, they don't even have the guns legally. They ain't got no license. They're just out there wilding, mostly wilding, right? Tupac can make that song for nothing, right? So we have control over the police. We have control over the guns. And it's the police who's haunting us. And they are licensing and putting permit on us to get guns. But that's because we're Moorish subjects. And so by default, the United States is the competent authority on the contract, so they get to enforce the contract. Trading places, Eddie Murphy. Continue, sister.
This license shall only be given a written request of the applicant, endorsed by his legation.
Oh, by whose legation? His legation. So
Yes,
which
okay.
so that if sister that's reading, Sister Mariama, if he's a German foreigner, what legation would he get that the application from? The German what? There you go. I want to hear you say German legation the whole time, so it can stick in your right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If he's a Frenchman, where he's gonna get his application
French
from?
legation.
But then they still got to get permission
The
from
Moroccan government. The Moorish government. They're all the same.
Moorish, Morocco is all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why we playing around marching and praying when the whole time we were supposed to be governing and uplifting fallen humanity? The whole time we marching and praying, begging for them to write legislation, which the legislation was already written. We were supposed to just simply enforce it. It's a problem. It's sold out. We've been sold out. Therefore, I'll be damned if I refer to this guy Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Nah. I call him Pool Bay.
Regulations drawn up in the manner indicated by the first paragraph of this article shall determine the number of such retail shops which may be opened at Tangier and occasion arises in the ports that may be later designated. They shall fix the formalities to be imposed on the importation of explosives intended for industry and public works, of arms and ammunition intended to supply such shops, as well as the maximum quantity of stock that can be kept. In case of the violation of the regulating ordinances, the license may be temporarily or permanently withdrawn without prejudice to other penalties incurred by the offenders. Article 19, every introduction of or attempt to introduce the prohibited merchandise shall make it liable to confiscation and further to the punishments fines mentioned below, which shall be pronounced by the competent
jurisdiction. And what's the competent jurisdiction? The Moroccan jurisdiction.
The Moroccan.
Or should I say consular court? Go ahead.
Consular court, right.
Article 20.
Article 20, the introduction or attempt to introduce in a port open to commerce or through a custom house shall be punished. And is that 1 degree?
Yeah, but you could just say 1.
1, by a fine of from 500 to 2,000 pesetas, and an additional fine equal to 3 times the value of the imported merchandise.
Revenue for the state, revenue for the empire, revenue. See, this is how you get. This is where we get the money, right? This is economic liberty, not any inequality, right? So don't worry about the money, Moors. It's there. What's not there is the mechanisms in place to collect the money. So let's focus on that. Go ahead, sister.
2, by imprisonment of from 5 days to a year, or else by only one of these 2 punishments. Article 21, the introduction or attempt to introduce outside a port open to commerce or a custom house shall be punished, 1, by a fine of from 1,000 to 5,000 pesetas, and an additional fine equal to 3 times the value of the imported merchandise. 2, by imprisonment of from 3 months to 2 years, or else by only one of these 2 punishments. Article 22, the fraudulent sale, and peddling of merchandise prohibited by the present regulations shall be punished according to the penalties specified in Article 20. Article 23, the accomplices in the offenses set forth in Articles 20, 21, and 22 shall be liable to the same penalties as the principals. The elements determining complicity shall be adjudged according to the laws of the court in charge of the case.
Well, I should actually have that highlighted. The accomplices and the offense set forth in Article 20 and 21 and 22 shall be liable to the same penalties as the principals. What does that mean? So, who are the accomplices? The police, the policy enforcers, the local governments, the local administration, the mayor. Well, he could be the principal, but primarily, right, the minions and the principals, right, is the competent authority of the United States. That's the president. That's the governor, right? That's the attorney general, secretary of state. Those are the principals. So if the accomplices, so therefore, if a cop violates Moroccan law, right, then Joe Biden got to pay for that. Brian Kemp got to pay for that. Brian Kemp being the governor of Georgia, the charter colony, so on and so forth. So that's what that means. Go ahead, sister.
Article 24, when there is good reason to suppose that a vessel anchored in a port open to commerce carries guns, ammunition, or other prohibited merchandise, with the view of introducing the same into Morocco, the officers of the Sharifian customs shall so inform the competent consular authority in order that the latter may carry out, in company with a delegate of the Sharifian customs, such investigations, verifications, or searches as may be judged necessary.
You see that kind of power, Moors? That's why it's highlighted. When there is good reason to suppose vessel anchored in a port open to commerce carries guns, ammunition, or other prohibited merchandise with a view of introducing the same into our beloved land of Morocco. The officers of Sharifian customs shall so inform the competent consular authority in order that the latter may carry out in company, right, with a delegate of the Sharifian customs. See, you ain't hearing nothing about American. Such investigations, verifications, or searches as may be judged necessary. So the brother mentioned something about the ports. There you go, or smuggling. So everyone that gave those answers, right? The Mozarian in power, right? What was the other one? There was four, right? The sister said, I don't forgot now, but it was four answers. All of them was the correct answer. As you see, thus far. That's why I pulled up the Act of Algeciras. All right, Article 25.
Article 25, in the case of the introduction or the attempted introduction by sea of prohibited merchandise outside of a port open to commerce, the Moorish customs authorities may bring the vessel to the nearest port to be turned over to the consular authority, who shall have the right to seize it and continue such seizure until payment of the fines decreed. The vessel may...
You see? More. You got to study.
Go ahead, sister. The vessel may, however, be released at any...
We're going to say something. Hold up. I was trying to say something here. One second. I'm sorry. I apologize for misunderstanding. We've been reading the wrong things, Morris. We've been doing the wrong thing. He's been pointed in the wrong direction like a block of wood. No wonder they're blocks of wood. Because to lead the way means that you would have to get yourself into trouble. Because you're not leading anyone in the proper way. You're not pointing in the right direction. So that's how you become a block of wood. You see what I'm saying, Morris? Those who lead the way are not will do so not to put themselves in harm's way, first and foremost. So then that means those who follow behind wouldn't be putting themselves in harm's way either. And if they are putting themselves in harm's way, then the leader takes the hit first, allowing the followers to say, oh, hell no, let me back up off of this. So your master teachers, such as Taj Tariq Bey, has always been a block of wood. He's always been a block of wood. All of them have been blocks of wood, pointing in one direction, but not going in that direction. They ain't even doing it. Abdullah Bey right now is a block of wood because he's trying to teach about statehood, but he ain't got no constitution. He ain't got no state. So what you talking about? And then you talking about an ecclesiastical government. No. See, you don't even know what you're talking about, which is why you haven't done it, but yet you're teaching it. The Moorish American movement is made up of blocks of wood. And it's unfortunate to the people. Remember, keep in mind, I was once a proud Moorish American.
Block of wood?
A proud block of wood. But not even, because I took action and did things. So I was a victim. I didn't point it and then did it. I did it and found out it wasn't the right way. So I ain't tell nobody to do it. Now I'm telling you what to do because I found out that this is the right way. I've already did it. We've done all the constituents, all the Wazirs, we've already done it. We're doing it. That's the difference between the Moorish American movement and the Moroccan statehood movement. That's the difference between a dirty glass and a clean glass of alkaline water. That's the difference between a stopped up toilet bowl of diarrhea and toilet paper and a clean, what they call that, laboratory. That's what they called it in the military. All right, go ahead, sister. Article 25.
The vessel may, however, be released at any period of the trial, provided that the judicial proceedings shall not be impeded thereby on the deposit made with the consular authority of the maximum of the fine, or else under responsible bail accepted by the customs. Article 26.
All right, Brother Cujo, listen up, brother. Listen up. This is a good one. This is good for you. I hope you've been paying attention thus far, sir. Because you like to talk. Well, talk with reference points. Use these reference points. Study this, read this, and then go talk about it. Go ahead, sister.
Article 26, the Moxen may retain the confiscated merchandise either for its own use, if able to utilize it, on condition that the subjects of the empire shall not be able to get possession of it, or it shall dispose of it abroad.
Okay, so you see that when the Moors, black people or whatever, they get in trouble with the police, don't they confiscate your guns? And don't they keep it for themselves? Mm-hmm. I wonder where they got that from.
They can utilize it.
All right, continue.
The conveyances of the same on shore may be confiscated and shall be sold for the profit of the Sharifian treasury.
Oh, another form of revenue. The conveyances of the same on shore may be confiscated and shall be sold for the profit of the Sharifian treasury. Come on, Moore. Why we ain't been studying this? Why they got us reading J.A. Rogers and Jose Pimenta Bay and oh God, this has been an interesting journey, to say the least. I tell you, Lord have mercy. Go ahead, sister. Continue.
Article 27, the sale of arms condemned by the Moorish government shall be prohibited throughout the Sharifian Empire.
Oh, the sale of arms condemned by the Moorish government, not the American government. Not the government, not the Hebrew Israelite government, not the black government, not the African American government, not the Seminole government, not the Blackfoot government, not the Indian government, certainly not the Aboriginal government or the indigenous government. The Moorish government, i.e. the Moxen, in not the American Empire, but in the Sharifian Empire, or the Moorish Empire, or the Moroccan Empire, or the Empire of Morocco. Get used to those terms more. These are the words you need to be uttering in your vocabulary. Nothing more, nothing less. Continue, sister.
Article 28, rewards taken out of the amount of the fines levied are to be given to the informants who have been instrumental in discovering forbidden merchandise and to the agents who have effected its seizure. Such reward shall be assigned after deducting, if necessary, the costs of the trial, 1/3 to be distributed by the customs among the informants, 1/3 to the officers who seized the merchandise, and 1/3 to the Moroccan treasury.
Okay, all right there. So now we see where we get the idea of informants.
Mm-hmm.
Right? FBI informants.
Mm-hmm.
So the informants get paid pretty well. They get 1/3 of the bread. They got a decent bag. But get what though? Guess who else get part of that bag?
Mm-hmm.
Not the American Treasury, the Moroccan Treasury. Y'all keep playing if you want. Y'all keep playing these Captain America games if you want here. You left out in the cold. Go ahead, sister.
If the seizure has been effected without the intervention of an informer, 1/2 of the fines shall go to the officer making the seizure, and the other half to the Sharifian treasury. Article 29. The Moorish customs authorities shall notify directly the diplomatic or consular agents of any violations of this regulation committed by those under their jurisdiction, in order that the same may be prosecuted before the proper jurisdiction. Similar violations committed by Moorish subjects shall be submitted directly by the customs to the Sharifian authority.
The Moorish subjects the Moorish subjects, right? Are they fall in this as well. Who are the Moorish subjects? All the people in American jurisdiction who check the box: Black, Negro, colored, African American, Moorish American, Moor, Indigenous Moor, American Moor, Cherokee. Well, unless you're actually of the reservation. But anything outside of that, if you claim to be a Cherokee, but you haven't pledged allegiance to the reservation, then you're patently frivolous, fool. You're still a Moorish subject. And the Indian reservations ain't all that anyway, because you're violating the treaties to go under the jurisdiction of the United States.
History and our culture.
They're supposed to be
49-year-old.
No. Well, not in the same way as Moors are. Right? They're subject from the perspective that they have their own jurisdiction. They have their own court. They govern their own affairs in those parcels of land. However, they're not sovereign and independent because they're tied to the United States as their great father, right? So based on the treaties that they have gotten themselves into with the United States, right, they're recognized as a state, but domestically and under the authority of the federal government. They're above the state level, but they're under federal level. So it's way better than what the Negro, definitely was better than the Moorish Science Temple of America. God, I tell you that. Now that's a state.
That's why you see videos of them cursing out police. Get off our
You sound, brother. You sound really, really far if you're saying something.
I said that's why you see videos of them screaming at police officers like, "Get off my land," and you know what I mean, with the F word.
Indeed, and I appreciate you not using the F word. See, the Moors are sharp, man. Yeah, y'all know what's good and what's wrong. You know what I mean? Because this is a PG, a rated G show, right? Even though sometimes when I get a little passionate, I might slip one out. And I apologize in advance if that happens. But they have a better situation than the Moorish Americans. but it still violates the treaties. That's not the proper setup or status that you want to have regarding your land. You're the competent authority, the sovereign authority. And you see Cherokee Nation, Seminole Nation, whatever Indian nation is not reflected on the Act of Algeciras. So they don't have nothing to stand on. We do. As what? Moroccans, Moors, Moorish, or of Morocco, if you will, right? And this is what has been concealed as a shrine in the Shriners Club. I mean, come on, everybody knows that. So you'll see a Shriner with a fez that says Morocco on it. Well, what is he telling you? He's certainly not in North Africa, is he? The Shrine Club, the Shrine organization is limited here only to the West, United States. So what that mean that you wear? What that Morocco mean on your fez, sir? What could you explain that? Oh, I've been sworn to secrecy. Because it means that the land is Morocco. The United States of America is in Morocco. So if the Shriner, by way of this fez, is telling you that the land is Morocco, then what the hell are you? Moroccan. Descendants of Moroccan, just like Noble told you. The problem is that we were naturalized or born in America. That's the problem. Resolution 75, which enacted legislation to thoroughly and speedily Americanize the former Moors, along with the Moorish American Society of Philadelphia, the other sellout fringe group of Moors. They doubled down on the whole Americanization, naturalization thing. Former Moors, well, what were we? Moroccans. We're now Americans. That's why you see the Moorish Science Temple of America always got what? An American flag. This is what's been done to us by the sold out Grand Sheiks. And the Moors they continue to cling to principles that delude to slavery. I'm hoping that Cujo is listening, because I'm talking to you, sir. This entire class is dedicated to you, my good brother. I appreciate all that you've done throughout the years. But now it's time to course correct you, whether you like it or not. Take all this information that I'm talking about, the references that I'm showing on the screen here, my good brother, and share it with your constituents and your followers in Rosmaraya and Amazite and Moreno Bay, right? All on. Show it and prove. Show it to Jamal. Because I remember that video of you and Jamal and another Moorish American going in on that lawyer sister that was trying to correct y'all on your legal arguments, and y'all sounded like some fools up there. But so you're gonna challenge her, you're gonna get on her platform. Come on my platform. Come talk to me like two good brothers. It's not about arguing, it's about gaining understanding as to what we're doing. You've never, right, petitioned us or asked us any questions. You're just leaning on your own ignorant understanding and making videos about it. You know how foolish you sound, brother? So I'm trying to help you out here. The doors are open. Come holler at us. We have no problem in talking to you and explaining to you exactly what we're doing it, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. We're not hiding this from everyone, from anyone. It's 193 nation states or countries out there on planet Earth, or at least, I should say, at least as the member states of the United Nations, and every last one of them know about us and what we're doing. So our offices, our doors are open, our phone numbers are open, our emails are open for any Moorish American who want to contact us and ask questions to gain the proper understanding. Do your research. Talk to the people who's doing it and find out what it's all about. Don't just go slandering us and talking about we're frauds and all this, which I don't mind you saying that. You can say that all day, but you're the one who sound, a little ignorant here because you're not providing the proper reference points. These are the reference points that you need to be looking at. This is what we're sharing. So then you need to be looking at what we're looking at, right? You got to study what we're presenting in order for you to make a proper determination as to whether it's a fraud or not. Right? Isn't that scholarship? Lord, have mercy.
Islam.
Islam, Hakeem.
It's worth noting that people with his mentality don't operate off common sense or reason, rather. They operate off pure ego. And if anything anybody's saying differs from the narrative they've been pushing, it's gonna make it seem like they're incompetent, so they're gonna have to push back against it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
right.
it's no reason or anything behind anything they do.
Well, it's protecting your pocket because knowledge is free at the WRC. We don't charge nobody for nothing. Why? Because we're all in this together.
Knowledge is free at the WRC, greatest slogan in the world.
Islam, my good brother.
The truth seekers, you know, they're open up to go further than what they have found thus far. And just like Brother Noble Hakeem was just saying, is that they are in defense of the narrative that they feel like they have to protect that, or in lieu of losing all of their followers or all their constituents. However, when you come across a truth that's awakening, and you can just hear it. Remember, we talked about, you know, the Piscean energy. It can't work in the Aquarian age, and you know, and so that goes for those who have been navigating through Moorish science, you know, throughout the years. They're still lost at sea, or they're still in that shallow grave. And I don't know. I just think mentioning them, you know, I appreciate the rebuttal education thing that we're getting here, but it's just holding a concert in the graveyard, you know.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. I yield.
As well. And so my thing is this, for the record, I ain't got no beef with none of the Moorish Americans. I love my brothers and sisters. I love Cujo. Cujo put me onto a lot of knowledge, man. Right?
Yeah.
He got, I don't know, 3,000, I don't know how many videos. But he's showcasing his ignorance right now. I mean, unadulterated ignorance is ridiculous. I'm saving him from himself is what I'm doing here. And I'm offering him a way out by just simply actually studying. I'm giving you the reference point, sir. You see, so your first name is Moorish. Your last name is American. And that American part of your last name is the incorrect version of your identity, my good brother. It's just saying that you're naturalized as a Moorish subject, i.e., what you just see right here, Moorish subjects. The whole time, the idea for us as a people was to come out of that subjugated status as naturalized people. See, this is the reason why Tasha Bay been teaching you wrong, Cujo, Raz Mariah, all y'all, RB Bay, all the Moorish Americans who are nature ill, right? First of all, we were taught that ipso Joe Moorish subject is a good thing. It's not. It's a horrible thing. And because what it means is that you're subjugated. So the whole idea, y'all, is to go back home like Dorothy, go back into Moroccan jurisdiction. This is why Noble Jew Ali had the picture art of the 101s for children. It was time to grow up, right? And he's stepping out of American jurisdiction onto the rock of salvation. Where do we find the cares of the world? In American jurisdiction, or more specifically, from a broader perspective, we find the cares of the world in colonialism. The world has been colonized. Everyone is under colonialism, and as John, good brother, Honorable John Henrik Clarke pointed out, we must decolonize the mind. Well, how do you decolonize the mind? Through educational reforms. Well, how do you take control of the education? Well, it first starts with the administrative reforms, which is establishing your state governments, which then brings about your reforms, which sets up your judicial protections, your laws, your courts, the integrities of your domains, so that now you can be free to educate the people as you see fit, which would be based in truth. The second of the fifth of the five pillars of light, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You can't do it as subjects. So we were supposed to, right, choose between entire submission to the laws of the empire and come back into the the Moroccan jurisdiction. So what I'm saying here is, I don't want to argue with Pujo. I don't want to argue with you, bro. I don't want to beef. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no drama. I'm good on the drama. I'm a busy government official. I have too much work to do. I got legislation to pass, sir. So I got time to argue with more subjects. No disrespect, but that's your status. It is what it is. Now that you know, there's a way out, and we're teaching this way out. So the best thing to do is contact us. Chop it up with your boy. Let's talk about it. Right? We don't dishonor Noble Jew Ali. We honor Noble Jew Ali. What we are saying, however, which was taught by you, good brother, is that the temples have been infiltrated by the FBI and corrupted. So what do you... I'm sorry if I'm intelligent and I choose to read his information with discernment and caution, because I know that the FBI has infused or imposed, right, erroneous information in there to take us off track. Just the same way one constitution says that we're part and parcel, and the other one says that we're part and partial. Well, we know that he couldn't have said both, but it still circulates. It's still in existence. One ID, right? What do you call them? The national ID or whatever from the temples says that I am a U.S. citizen and others don't. What's that about? It's about the sellout. You said in your video that you didn't find out that you was about Moorish American and temples and stuff till you was 33. I didn't learn about it till I was 35. Why is that though? I heard about the RBGs. I heard about Marcus Garvey. I heard about Malachi York. I heard about the Hebrew Israelites. I heard about everybody else but the Moorish Temple of America all this time. Why? And you said why? Because of the sellout. So excuse me, sir, if we choose to exercise caution and intelligence in studying the prophet's literature, it's not a slight at the prophet. It's the understanding of the infiltration. So we honor the prophet. If it wasn't for the prophet, we wouldn't know that we were Moroccans. Keep in mind that the prophet also spoke in codes and symbols. He did say to worship under your own vine and fig tree. That's your sovereignty and independence, establishing your states. He said, confess your own. Well, that's your body of laws, your courts, right? To protect the integrity of your domains. He said, children, you are plainly rich. Well, he must have read the Act of Algeciras because we have control over the banks. Economic liberty without any inequality, not just control over the banks, but control over the taxes, creation of new revenues. We read all types of revenues throughout this particular chapter. Just on guns, we can make money for the treasury, the state treasury. So what I'm saying is we need to have a conference with the WRC and all the grand sheiks of the temples. That's what I call for. I don't call for an argument. I don't call for a back and forth. I don't call for us to be enemies. I call for us to come together and figure this shit out. But you, on the other hand, you want to make enemies. You want to call people fraudulent, so on and so forth, as if you wasn't part of the ISC with Jamal seeking to establish a Moorish government, because we already know we need Moorish governments. And by the way, Hakeem Bey on the Moorish paradigm told us that we need to establish 3 branches of freaking government. He also said in the Moorish paradigm that us recognizing them at the time through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship means that they would need to recognize our governments today. So while we playing games about going back and forth with one another, when instead we should all come together and talk about these matters and to gain understanding as to why is it that over 100 years we haven't heard about none of this. If you're serious about uplifting fallen humanity and you ain't just talk, then contact the WRC. We ain't going nowhere. We're gonna keep on with the due process of decolonization, whether y'all get with us or not. We ain't waiting on none of y'all. And we ain't asking y'all for no permission. So the ball is in your court. Sister, could you please go to Article 30 so we can finish off this particular chapter and then we can move on?
Okay, and I'm gonna well, I left off with a delegate, but I'm gonna finish this chapter and then if somebody else could pick up, I'd appreciate it. Okay, a delegate of the customs shall be assigned to follow the procedure of cases pending before the different jurisdictions. Article 30, in the region bordering on Algeria, the enforcement of the regulations on the contraband of arms shall be the exclusive concern of France and Morocco. Similarly, the enforcement of the regulation on the contraband of arms in the Rif and in general in the regions bordering on the Spanish possessions shall be the exclusive concern of Spain and Morocco.
Islam, sister, I appreciate it. That ends the read for chapter 2, which deals with disarmament. Chapter 3 deals with a act of concession for a state bank. So while we're worried about the BRICS and the U.S. currency issue, while we're worried about the Federal Reserve, why are we worried about the IMF? Why are we worried about the International Bank of Settlements in Switzerland? Why? We got control over all that. You dig? As it states in Article 31, a bank shall be established in Morocco under the name of the State Bank of Morocco to exercise the following specified rights, which are granted to it by His Majesty the Sultan for a period of 40 years to date from the ratification of this act. Then it goes on to say, the bank, which will have power to carry on all transactions entering into the operations of a bank, shall have the exclusive privilege of issuing notes to bearer payable on representation and receivable for public dues throughout what empire?
Moorish Empire.
Oh, really? Is that what it says? Oh, okay, I thought so. They don't say American Empire, do it?
Mm-mm.
So we just heard Sharifian Empire, didn't we? We heard Moroccan Empire, we heard Moorish Empire, and we also heard what we already know, obviously, Empire of Morocco. They're all synonymous. All right. It's 9:38. I don't think we're gonna get to it. Or we will, but we won't get too far in it. Up this read. If we're gonna adjourn at 10. So this is where we left off in the last class. We finally got to it. Kucho, pay attention, sir. This for you. Because chapter 7 deals with the action with respect to threats to the peace, breaches of the peace, and acts of aggression. So in dealing with the United States, as we go through these varying stages of decolonization, there must be peace. So they can bring threats, right, or acts of aggression against us as we go through this due process. And if they do, They can be found liable at a specific court that Cujo said the United States don't honor or recognize their jurisdiction because they pulled out in '85. It's bad scholarship. Because you got cases dating up to 2023 with the United States at the ICJ. See, what people got to understand is even if you don't become a signatory power of a United Nations resolution, convention, or any agreement, the fact still remains that states, right, governments, countries, nation states, whatever, they're all subjects of international law, period. International law, the United Nations is the central body or body politic. It's a government. I mean, it's an organization, right? Which was established by all the states, right? And it's a referee for all the states. It's a mediator for all the states to keep govern and keep the states in line in an effort to maintain peace and security on planet Earth. That's the spirit of Moroccan law. That's the spirit of our ancestors, peace and security. Love, truth, peace, and security. Article 39 says the Security Council shall determine the existence of any threat to the peace, breach of the peace, or act of aggression, and shall make recommendations or decide what measures shall be taken in accordance with Article 41 and 42 to maintain or restore international peace and security. They're having a problem with maintaining peace and security on planet Earth because of the same reason that they're having a problem maintaining the disarmament and completing the project, because it's not complete. There's 13,000 guns, nuclear weapons out there that's undiscovered. All of these reasons is because we're not in power. Our acquiescence, us delaying our own justice, is delaying peace and security on planet Earth, full peace and security on planet Earth, i.e. the upliftment of fallen humanity, which also includes educational reforms to re-educate the world as to what's really what and what's actually not. That's up to us. We are the mothers and fathers, founders of civilization, aren't we? Well, that's our legacy. That's always been our history. That's always been our legacy, uplifting fallen humanity, teaching people, teaching the world. Can we get back to that? Can we get back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers for once, please, and stop being so docile and punkish? Right? Can we stand up like men and women and pull our pants and skirts up and get to work with this Moroccan law so that these colonists can get in line as the tenants that we are, that they are? Article 41, the Security Council may decide what measures not involving the use of armed force are to be employed to give effect to its decisions, and it may call upon the members of the United Nations to apply such measures. These may include complete or partial interruption of economic relations and of rail, sea, air, postal, telegraphic, radio, and other means of communication, and the severance of diplomatic relations. Article 42. Should the Security Council consider that measures provided for in Article 41 should be inadequate or have proved to be inadequate, it may take such action by air, sea, or land forces as may be necessary to maintain or restore international peace and security. See, that's the blue helmet troops, the troops with the blue helmet. Deploy military, which, by the way, they represent all the military on planet Earth. All the countries, 193 member states. Each 193 member state donated a portion of their military to the United Nations, right? To make up the peacekeepers. Peacekeepers, that's their name. Right? Such action may include demonstrations, blockade, and other operations by air, sea, or land forces of members of the United Nations. Article 43, all members of the United Nations, in order to contribute to the maintenance of international peace and security, undertake to make available to the Security Council on its call and in accordance with a special agreement or agreements, armed forces, assistance, and facilities, including rights of passage necessary for the purpose of maintaining international peace and security. Didn't I just say that? All the member states contributed a portion of their armed forces to make up the peacekeepers. Such agreement or agreements shall govern the numbers and types of forces, their degree of readiness and general location, and the nature of the facilities and assistance to be provided. The agreement or agreements shall be negotiated as soon as possible on the initiative of the Security Council. They shall be concluded between the Security Council and members or between the Security Council and groups of members and shall be subject to ratification by the signatory states in accordance with their respective constitutional processes. You see what I'm saying? In accordance with their constitution. So it needs to be ratification by the signatory states in accordance with their respective constitutional processes. Right? This is your constitutional process. Ratified by the House of the Aziz, which is the legislative branch, ratified by the Wazir, which is the executive branch, the notification to the United Nations, notifications to the United States, notification to the Wazir Regional Council, entered into full force on such and such date, promulgated or proclaimed or promoted, if you will, by the Wazir Reis, the head of the state that enacted the law. This is the constitutional procedure that they're talking about here. Where is it at? I just lost my position. There you go. Constitutional process. Right? So to ratification by the signatory states in accordance with their respective constitutional processes. Because through the constitutional process is how law becomes enforce that law, right? You don't just write something in as an individual or something, for example, or a group of people, and as a law, if you will, and say and tell the United States, "Oh, these are my laws." No, it don't work that way. It has to go through a procedure, and the United Nations is supposed to be involved in that procedure because it's supposed to be public law, not private law. And as such, public law is for all to see. Public law deals with government. Government is based in public law. Organizations are based in private law. The rules of your household that your mama established, that's private law. The rules of your temple, the rules of your church, the rules of your NAACP, those are private laws. Article 44, when the Security Council has decided to use force, it shall, before calling upon a member not represented on it to provide armed forces in fulfillment of the obligations assumed under Article 43, invite that member, if the member so desires, to participate in the decisions of the Security Council concerning the employment of contingents of that member's armed forces. All right, Article 45, in accordance to enable the United Nations to take urgent military measures, members shall hold immediately available national Air Force contingents for combined international enforcement action. The strength and the degree of readiness of these contingents and plans for their combined action shall be determined within the limits laid down in the special agreement or agreements referred to in Article 43 by the Security Council with the assistance of the Military Staff Committee. Article 46, plans for the application of armed force shall be made by the Security Council with the assistance of the Military Staff Committee. Right? Article 47. Number 1, there shall be established a Military Staff Committee to advise and assist the Security Council on all questions relating to the Security Council's military requirements for the maintenance of international peace and security, the employment and command of forces placed at its disposal, the regulation of armaments, and possible disarmament. So who does the Security Council represent? The Moroccan Empire. Right? It goes through the Moroccan Empire, which means, okay, I just told y'all, or showed y'all, I didn't tell you nothing, I showed you. I just showed y'all in the Act of Algeciras under Chapter 1, right? Highlighted for you, for your erudition. Declaration relative to the organization of the police. Doesn't the military police the world? Yes, that's the police, the military. So let's use common sense. If the empire has a treaty that states that all the military of all the signatory powers are under the authority of the empire and the sultan, but then the sultan and the empire go dark, and then an organization pops up and picks up on that same idea. What happens when the empire comes back into full powers and the sultan back into full powers? That's a real question for somebody.
The treaties come back into effect.
No. The treaty is still in effect. It's in effect regardless.
The police are under the Moroccan government's control.
Okay. I guess I misunderstood your question.
So that's what I'm explaining. You see that what I was saying is that the United Nations has been operating, upholding the treaty of the Act of Algeciras on behalf of the empire, while the empire has been a shallow grave. So if the empire comes back out of a shallow grave, the empire and the sultan have the authority to assume the control.
Yeah.
Which means then the United Nations report to the empire. We gotta, man, y'all gotta understand. If you don't already understand, we gotta lay up dunk.
Just one layer?
What's that?
It's
I
more
say
like a
just
slam
one layer
dunk.
because it seems like it's a lot of layers.
No, I said a layup dunk.
Oh, never mind. I thought you said something totally different.
So a layup dunk. We got an open lane. We got a wide open lane.
It's an alley-oop.
It's an alley-oop, really. Yeah,
It's an alley-oop. And all
that's
we
really
got to
what it
do is
is.
throw it down. Yeah.
That's really what it is, an alley-oop. Which was made possible because the sultan abandoned the office and abandoned the empire and became a king and established a kingdom. So now the empire is just sitting there. Think of a car. Every time you park your car and you go into the house, that car is just sitting there. It can only operate when you hop back in the next morning to go to work. That car is the empire. It's just sitting there, collecting dust. All you got to do is hop in the driver's seat and start operating the ship. The ship. It's a ship. It's the mothership that a lot of all these people been talking about. It's the mothership.
It's the mothership. Yeah.
That they all been talking about. That's the code. It's the mothership. It's the empire. The empire shall strike back. Long live the empire, right?
With the pen.
Excalibur.
The pen, that's right.
So we've been playing games. Who, Joe? Since you care so much about the people, you've been through all the schools of thought too. I saw that video. Yeah, man, I've been this, I've been that. I was a black guy, I was a, RBG. Yeah, we walked the same, we walked the same path, bro. We ended up in the same place, Moorish American. I just took it to the next level. It's time for you to do the same too, brother. But don't do it because I said, I'm showing you the reference points. Go read it. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see the sellout even better. So this class is dedicated to you, my good brother, not in malice, in brotherhood. You see the difference? That's our energy over here. We try to, you know what I'm saying? We try to put together an organized dual society with our brothers and sisters. We expected more from the Moorish Americans because Prophet Noble Drew Ali told everybody that we're Moroccans. I don't know why we get this pushback that we're Americans. Chapter 47 don't say that the Moabites are the founders and true possessors of the American empire. It says that the Moabites are the founders and possessors of the Moroccan empire. Well, everything that I just read in here is relating to the Moroccan empire, sir. Not the American empire. Moroccan empire. So y'all keep playing these games if you want to. All you're doing is delaying your own justice. Because we ain't gonna stop. We ain't delaying our justice. We gonna keep moving forward. So once it's made manifest, don't come crawling back with your tails between your legs. Keep the same energy as a Canadian American. I open the floor now at this point for any questions and comments because it's now 10 o'clock and obviously I won't be able to finish this part up, but we'll get to it next week. How you? Oh, don't tell me I have no questions and comments when y'all was constantly interrupting me while I was reading.
I just wanted to say, not gonna take too long. Just wanted to say that I do intend to go into detail, seeing that he was targeting me per se.
Mhm.
I do intend to go into detail regarding the matter, especially to clear up the confusion that he's causing to push his narrative, right? But I'm kind of glad that you did go over this, but hopefully we as the body can move forward and kind of save him for, like just regular nationals and, the officials kind of move forward with getting the work done. It's way too much for us to be doing as states to be distracted by, guys like this.
No doubt. I totally agree. So this is his lifetime opportunity and his one-time shot to get to course correct. We ain't gonna be doing this we ain't gonna be doing this. But I thought proper that it would be good to educate the brother because he sounds uneducated. So I'm just putting him on game as a good brother would. See, I'm not of the mindset that the game is to be sold, not to be told. That's not my stilo. That's not my energy. That's not my vibe. That's not my game plan. This is nationality. This is statehood. This is freedom. Therefore, the game is to be told, not sold. You dig what I'm saying?
Islam.
And this is the energy that we're coming with.
Also, to add to what you were saying earlier, I'm kind of glad you pointed out the fact that we're supposed to be coming together as a people, right? And having these tough discussions in order to figure these things out, right?
Exactly.
And I found it interesting, which is why I'm glad you brought it up, because that was a topic of discussion recently when speaking with other members of the ISC, one of which just so happened to be really close with the Moor that's this is dedicated to.
Yeah.
And I was essentially saying that the intention of the ISC initially was clearly to include as many Moors as possible, because the goal was to have a constitutional convention involving as many Moors as possible, regardless of what they identify as. Right? As long as they believe in us having our own government, they're supposed to be included. But there was some kind of pushback from the individual, which I'm not surprised by because that's the general perspective of these Moors that are tied to this particular Moor, is they think that others who share a different opinion or do something different than what they think is right, they don't want to associate with that Moor at all.
Yeah.
Which is undiplomatic and will always prevent unity if we are constantly staying away from people just because they're thinking differently. If that was the case, Noble Drew Ali would have stayed clear of all the Moors that were dumbed down, that were thinking they're black and Negroes and colors.
That's right.
But he was trying to unify the people, right? And
Yeah.
even Noble Drew Ali said some of his best Moors are in the church.
Yep.
So if we take their mentality and say, well, the church is saying you're Negro, black, or colored, so we're not gonna even want to associate with you. We don't want to talk to you. That's causing division. That's not causing unity.
Yep.
You know, so we all have to come to the table at some point, even if we have differences of opinions, beliefs, or whatever. We have to be willing to sit down with each other and have that talk. We have to be diplomatic. You can't have a government if you're not diplomatic. You're just
Right.
going to make enemies. That's it.
No doubt.
You know, so I'm really glad you pointed that out, that we all need to come together, because that's absolutely needed.
No doubt. Appreciate that. And to add to that, was in this particular roundtable discussion that I proposed amongst all the Grand Sheiks and national Grand Sheiks and regular Grand Sheiks and members, anyone and everybody. You can bring the NAACP, you can bring Nation of Islam, right? As it relates to a difference of opinion, when we step in the building, ain't gonna be no difference of opinion. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're not coming with opinion.
Facts.
Not coming with opinions.
Coming with law.
We're coming with facts. We're coming with legislation. We're coming with paperwork. We're coming with well-settled principles of international law.
Law of the land.
The highest law of the land, the supreme law of the land,
Law of the land.
also includes Moorish treaties. So if I can highlight and show and prove that our likeness, our identity, okay, let's do this. Watch this. Check this out. Let's go to chapter 2. Right? So we ain't coming with opinions. We coming with facts. So what we're doing is educating all you good brothers and sisters who have been led into the wrong direction. So let's do this. Let's quick exercise. So you see Moorish here, Moorish Minister of War, Moorish. That's 1. Moorish government, Moorish. That's 2. Right? We come down here because I think I highlighted them, all of them. Moxon, that's still pretty much Moorish, but let's just say Moorish. 3, that's Moorish right here. 3, Moorish government, that's 3. Right? I think I highlighted all of them. In the treaty itself, here we go again. 4, Moorish customs authorities. Right? All right, come on. Come on. Ugh. Okay. Moxon, Moorish government, that's 5. Moroccan treasury, that's 6. Remember, Moroccan and Moorish means the same. Moorish customs, that's 7. Moorish subjects, Moorish, right? That's 8. So you see Moorish 8 times, along with Morocco, Sharifian Empire, Moorish Empire, Morocco. These aren't opinions. We didn't write none of this. It's in the Act of Algeciras. So in having this sit down with all our people is for us to educate them ultimately on what's been missing all this time. And now it's incumbent upon them to come to the table with an open mind, to at minimum go back to your respective organizations, churches or what have you, and study it. And then we come back again Now we can have a discussion and start talking about interpretation as to what's what and what's not. But ain't no opinions here. We talking straight facts, baby. Islam, I yield for any other questions or concerns. There was a few, I think.
The I spent a great deal of time listening to Cujo's videos, and I came up on him, and pretty much all the names that you mentioned. Say spent some time with Jamal, spent some Talib Bey, um, that other brother that's now locked up, enforcing the Constitution.
He's out. He's out now. I mean, his co-defendant's still in, but he out. Oh, imagine
Yeah,
that.
I spent time, listening to all of them tell you to walk in your own statehood, and you can go into courtrooms and, but what you have presented and what you presented and taken us in our course of study, showing us, it's just not just Moorish, Moroccan, Moxon, all of that is not just repleting the Act of Algeciras. It's in the Treaty of Madrid of 1880. It's in all the four major treaties. All throughout, it's replete that who we are and what we are, and those seats that are sitting there waiting for us, and then the trust that will be coming in automatically by just assuming those seats, including the veto power seats of the UN, all of those seats. But what's most exciting is about the disarmament that's in that treaty about the Act of Algeciras, to keep us from destroying ourselves. And that's what they mean when they say, blessed are the peacemakers, because we are the children of God. And this is with the pen that we will see this through. But that's a very, very enlightening course, reminders that you took us through, even though you were stimulated and energized by responding to Cujo.
I love it.
I do too. I love all of them. I love Lamont L. I love all the people that you named. But truth seeking got to seek its own, like water got to seek its own level. And so I last leave you with this, because you gave an analogy about a layup dunk. And it reminded me of, it's been often said that the Sultan, when he went from Sultan to a state, he threw us Moors under the bus, the Moors of the empire under the bus. But at the same time, he saved his state. He did throw us an alley-oop. I yield. Long live the empire. I yield.
Islam, good brother, and that's what you're referring to now comes down to perspective, right? One person can view it as being sold out. The other person, such as yourself, would see it as an alley-oop. But the trust that everyone is talking about, that Noble Drew Ali never got, I'm yet to see it. It doesn't even make sense, especially when you understand international law. One man cannot have authority over the whole, really. No, it doesn't work that way. It even violates uti possidetis juris. So that was a lie about the Prophet's trust. The trust is the empire of Morocco. The several territories are the sacred trust. The trust territories. We're supposed to take back control and govern the trust territories. That's the trust. That's the access to the trust, your three branches of government, and plus the empire, along with the empire and the sultan, to gain back control over the trust, which is the land, what they also call the great enterprise, which also represents the United States, That's the trust. Right? And so this is part of that sellout misinformation. Oh, the prophet went to the Pan American Conference and they gave him the trust, mandate over the entire land. Really? Yeah, that don't make no sense. Was he the competent authority of the empire? Possibly, but it still doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't it make any sense? Even worse yet, because during the time of the prophet, guess what was in full operation? The empire. That's the reason why they can't produce the trust, or they can't find the trust. Other Moors, you would hear more say, "Oh, we can't find the trust." They don't exist. Well, it does exist, not in the way that you think it exists. The trust is the empire itself, Moors. We have to get back into governance, and so I did appreciate. I thought it was an interesting demonstration in an attempt to discredit what we're doing. We don't mind because it's given us what do you call that? Publication. Is that the word? No. It's shining a light on what we're doing. Let's say it that way. Right? It's giving, hold on one second, it's giving others a place to look. See, if you're gonna slander us, then your followers are gonna come to see what it is that you're slandering, because we got information all over the place and we're gonna keep on pumping information. So send your followers on over here to be curious, so the truth can bite them in the behind, and they may now open their eyes, right? As the third and fourth generation seeing and knowing. And come on in, take your place in the affairs of men, and but for crying out loud, once and for all, y'all, please, can we go ahead and force decolonization?
Decolonization.
Go ahead, Brother Hakeem.
Islam. I was just gonna say, it's interesting that you were mentioning that just now, because last year, when after he had slandered AMPAG, and I wrote the article detailing his misconducts, he started attacking me, right? And so after initially, I started off being very professional about it. You know, I wrote a detailed article correcting his false assumptions, so on and so forth. But then he just continued on with the slanders. So I figured that's the type of time he's on. So let me take it down to his level so he can comprehend. Right.
Right.
And so that's when I started slapping him around with the facts. Now, right, admittedly, I had a little bit too much fun with it, but it got to a point where he had told everybody that follows him on Instagram, he told them essentially not to do business with me, right? Yeah. Because he felt that I was disrespecting Canaan land Moors. So he told everybody not to do business with me. And he told me that I'll be out of business in 1 month. So I was like, essentially, I was like, well, have fun with your insidious plan, and it's likely going to backfire, something to that effect, right? And sure enough, it backfired. All right, he ended up losing his main channel that all that slanderous stuff was on, right? And sure enough, I didn't go out of business in 1 month. I'm still here, still helping out all the Moors that need my help. Right. And here he is coming back with the same energy, basically. So yeah, you can't let it go, because his followers, his constituents, his friends, whoever, whatever,
They're putting pressure on him, asking him questions about what we're doing. You can best believe that. There's a lot of pressure on good brother Cujo. Cujo, I know you're under pressure over there in Canada, you know, but we're here, bro. We ain't got no beef. We don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. I want friendship. I want brotherhood. I want unity because I want decolonization. You know, I'm tired of the injustice. I'm tired of the miseducation, the misinformation. That's the worst, probably the worst, because if there was no miseducation, then there wouldn't be no injustices. The injustice that are taking place is based on a lack of knowledge. That's why the verse goes, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So the Moorish Americans are ignorant, the African Americans are ignorant, everybody's ignorant. And the only reason why the Moorish Americans are ignorant is because of a sellout that took place. Otherwise, they are the wise ones. They're the closest to the truth, but they've been sold out, led in the wrong direction. Everybody knows that. Cujo knows that better than anyone else because he can't stop talking about it. He's been talking about the sellout since I can't remember. So what we talking about? You're not saying that we're sellouts. You're just saying that we're a fraud. Well, prove it. Prove that we're a fraud. Your attempts today was erroneous. Bad attempt. Because as you see on the screen, as everyone sees on the screen, as the brother was saying about the Treaty of Madrid, you see Moorish in here too. Moorish employees or servants of foreign subjects. See, the 1880 Madrid Convention put us in, is what recognized the subjugation of the Moors across planet Earth. The Sultan allowed it, affixed his signature to the Treaty of Madrid, which allowed it. But in good faith, he gave us Article 15.
The alley-oop.
The alley-oop.
The alley-oop.
Right? So it gave us an opportunity or a way out of the subjugation. And it's so powerful that the footnote tells you what it's all about. A U.S. note of March 17, 1959, addressed to the Moroccan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that's the kingdom, referred to a note from the ministry dated October 8, 1958, in which the embassy had been informed that the Moroccan government had decided to strike all prescription relating to Moroccan nationality from the text of the Madrid Convention. Why? The U.S. note said, in part, the government of the United States of America, having unilaterally relinquished certain rights in Morocco with the reemergence of Morocco, misinformation, into independence in 1956. That's not a reemergence. That was a political maneuver, not a reemergence. It was a political maneuver, literally what it was. Considers that in line with historical developments, Article 15 of the Madrid Convention on Protections of 1880 has become obsolete and without effect. You see that? But look at the foolishness. Look how silly these colonists and pale Arabs look. So they call it the Moroccan Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then they call it the Moroccan government. This is what they're calling themselves, right? Because they stole our identity, basically. So they call themselves the Moroccan government and the Moroccan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, only to then turn around and say that the Moroccan nationality is striped from the record. So then what's going to leave? Well, how will you identify yourself then, sir? If you're saying that the Moroccan nationality, all they're really saying is that they don't want us to be able to get back to Morocco, to the governments, to the seats through Article 15 by proclaiming our correct and true de jure nationality, which is Moroccan, not Moorish American. Moorish American is still yet another subjugated status. You cannot be the Americans in Morocco, our land. Everybody knows that this is Morocco. Tariq Bey told us that this is Morocco. Everybody knows that this is Morocco. Noble Ali said the present Moroccan Empire. You see Shriners with the fez that says Morocco. So let's not play games. We know that it's Morocco. Okay. So if the land is Morocco, we're indigenous to Morocco, we're natives to Morocco, then what in the hell is the American legation? That means that you're not American. That means that Planet Rock landed on us. That means that the American had a legation in Morocco. America was the sending state. Morocco was the receiving state. We are the host nation. They came onto our land. And if you have a misunderstanding about why we need consular court, because I've heard you speak on that before, the reason why we need consular court is because consular court deal with matters relating or dealing with the American government as it relates to the Treaty of Madrid, Article 20. This in it of itself proved that we're not American. They had an American legation in Morocco. So unless you reject the fact that the land is Morocco and you stand your square on the fact on the misinformation that the land is America, then I guess your position stands strong. But it's based in falsehood. And remember, Cujo, as the illustrious prophet have told us, truth and falsehood are strangely mixed. Islam, I yield for any other questions, concerns before we get ready to close out soon.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to submit something to you.
Yes, sir.
Here in the Republic of Moroccan Empire, the acronym is Rome, Ante, Massachusetts. We have campaigned on just that one paradigm shifting word that you use and reuse, decolonization. That's the awakening call, the clarion call. And in that paradigm shift, it doesn't matter who you are or what you know or what you think you know, everybody's not going to hear that call. We are proud to have a Sayya Raha who never heard of Tariq Bey or Jamal or Noble Drew Ali or the Moorish or the Moorish Science or Moorish Science Temple. All she heard was a call for freedom, decolonization. And she became our Sayya Raha. She's our forensic evidence that it's about who can hear the call. And the people that we think will hear it won't, and the people we don't think will hear it will. It has to stay universal. The principles is based on those three principles. Is a matter of the heart, not politics, not skin color. So we keep it universal. You know, it's a matter of the heart. And so we just put out the call, and those who respond is the ones who have heard it. Those who the many are called but few are chosen. Those that are chosen chose themselves. And we can't determine what politics or what religion or what color they have. They chose themselves to be ready for the shift. I yield. Long live the empire.
Long live it. Long live it. Lord have mercy. Shaletta has a point of interest. Give me 1 second, sister. I gotta wow. Real quick, just let me say this real quick. As of lately, it's been in my spirit to reach out heavily to our fellow, what I prefer to call blackamoors, the sleeping Moors who don't know anything else other than Black, Negro, or African American. Certainly, they don't know nothing about Moorish American. They don't know nothing about the temples, Noble Drew Ali. And that's a really good thing because they're malleable. All they're seeking is freedom and liberation. So just like you, good brother, my deputy wazir, you ain't heard of none of that. In fact, her first introduction to anything dealing with Moorish science was R.B. Bay Publications. Imagine that. But because of the charges for everything, right? Her being an intelligent woman, an intelligent human being, she decided to look elsewhere and came across AMPAG and became our deputy wazir, right? Hint, hint. Okay. See, the package selling days are over with, or at to an end. And so my point is that we, like Noble Drew Ali said, his best Moors are in the churches, meaning that it's those who are sleeping. See, y'all got to remember something. The only reason why Black people even got civil rights, affirmative action, or anything like that, right? Which I guess it's better than nothing, right? The only reason why they were able to get the United States to move on something was because they put a lot of pressure on the United States, y'all. It's Black people through the Black Panther Party movement and all the other RBG type movements. You have your 5% Nation, the Gods and Earths, right? You got all these different demonstrations, right? They were putting a lot of pressure on the United States with all this marching and praying. But then there was also times of violence and riots, Rodney King and such. All through this time, you ain't heard nothing about no daggone Moorish American, or you ain't seen no Fez, you don't know what no temple is, and you certainly ain't never heard from Noble Drew Ali. Just like Cujo mentioned in that particular video. He never learned about Noble Drew Ali till he was 33. That's the only thing he said he would change in terms of coming back as a Moor if he was to be reborn. He would want to come from the womb knowing that he was a Moor. This is what he said. And I agree. I'm with him on that, because I'm like, why did it take till I'm 35 before I learned who Noble Drew Ali was in the first place? I knew who everybody else was. That tells you something about the temple. So to your point, man, good brother, our best warriors for decolonization are in the HBCUs, right? They're out there in the streets. They're not in the temples. They're in the churches. They're in the mosques, in organizations, even in street gangs, y'all.
Islam.
The street gangs is a government. There's structure there. It's a structured setup. So they understand government, they understand the pecking order, they understand authority. It's just from the lower self. It's time for them now to come into their higher self, and there will be excellent government officials. If they can now switch course correct and now be into love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, diplomacy, and the power of the pen, those will be some dangerous brothers.
Islam.
Sister Shalette, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
Point well taken. Islam.
And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
You did. You knew my name. Just when you pronounced it, you was like Shalette. But no, it is Shalette.
Okay.
Islam, y'all. I just wanted to piggyback off what he had said when he said many are called, the few are chosen. I say that all the time, because we are chosen. And I haven't heard of any of this until this year. And I'm 34. So, it's just powerful seeing everything. Me being in the position that I'm in, as far as I say Raha here for the indigenous Moors of Alabama, it's a lot that's going on that people don't know. And a lot of people don't know about it. My grandma called me, I think, today. She called me tonight while all this was going on, because I'm cooking and doing all type of other stuff right now. And she was like, "You a Muslim?" And I started. And then I'm sitting up there trying to explain all this to her, and I was like, "Hold on, Grandma, I can't talk because I'm cooking. I'm watching my children at the same time. I'm on the Zoom. I'm like, I'm going to call you back or come by your house and deeply explain everything to you." But I told her just a little bit of what's going on. She was like, "Oh, I know that's right. She said it's about time somebody start doing something. You know, and it was funny because my dad always say he's Muslim and stuff, but he was on the, you know, Farrakhan and all that. So we know that ain't, you know, the temple stuff. So it's just funny how she was like, because that, excuse my French, y'all, but she was like, that shit he on, that ain't, I hope you ain't going to no Mars or nothing. And I'm like, growing up, I don't do none of that. This is about forming our statehood, our governments, you know. And she was like, oh, I said, and then I was telling her about how the Europeans came over here and they tried to say that this was their land. We was already here. She said, oh, I already know all of that. She said, what about our banks and stuff? See, my grandma know a lot. She was like, what about our banks and stuff? What about our money? I said, we doing all that. We're in the process, but we just getting started. So a lot of people don't know about it. But I was like, I'll break it down to you when I get the chance. And then I was like, I'm on a Zoom call that happens every Sunday. And she was like, oh, it happens every Sunday? Is there a link or something? I sent her the link. But like, I'm sitting up here because I'm getting in the process of finna open my catering company. So I'm cooking and stuff and doing video. I'm doing videos, all type of stuff at one time and listening. So I'm like, okay. But when he said that, it really made me like, hold on, stop. I stopped everything. I stopped music, I stopped cooking. I was like, hold on, let me raise my hand real quick. Because I say that all the time. Many are called, but few are chosen. Because I look at myself as a chosen one. I've been like that my whole life. So it was just when he said that, just like really shook me to the core. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to thank you all, everyone that's involved, everyone that's helping us as far as writing these laws and doing some of the heavy work that some of us can't even do. Some of us can, you know, but some of us not going to take the time and sit out there and write out laws and do all this other type of stuff. That's the back work in the background. And I just am thankful for a lot that's going on and thankful that I'm a part of it.
Islam. What territory are you in, sister?
Indigenous Moors of Alabama. We're still in the process.
Islam.
They are, in other words, they're reclaiming the trust territory of Alabama, the charter colony of Alabama. They're reclaiming that.
Islam. That's great news. Islam.
And I yield the floor.
Glad to know that.
For those points of interest, shout out to brother DJ Alexander. I believe he's going to be the wazir. And let me say this.
Yes.
Islam. You don't know what you just did just now to my spirit. First of all, shout outs to your grandmother matriarch. Please, if she's interested, have her come on to the Zoom calls every Sunday. You touched my heart in such a way, it made me shed a tear. I lie to you not. See, the old Moors, when Noble Ali says that the old Moors are being put in the back, that has nothing to do with age. That's the mindset of the people, right? So the Moorish Americans, many of them are buffering, stuck in the Piscean era, right? Whereas we're in the Aquarian era. That's the old Moors. They can't course correct. But that ain't got nothing to do with your age. It has to do with your mentality. Are you still a minor thinking, or are you finally ascending to the thoughts of a majority, which is competent authority? For your grandmother to recognize that we need a government, it says a lot. And for you to not have to reiterate anything just by mentioning it, she catches on. She just obviously she's been pondering upon this idea. She's been contemplating seriously about returning to Morocco without really knowing it. That's good news for our people. And thank you for recognizing the heavy lifting that's taking place behind the scenes. We've got a lot on our back. Sister Nova, the executive director, bless her heart. She's our warrior. She is our administrative superhero. She does so much work, and shout out also to the executive staff who assist her with it. Right. And last but not least, we cannot forget the good brother J. Jermaine Bay. All right. In honor for what you just said, let's highlight J. Bay's writings, shall we? So I just read the preamble. So section 1 of this bill is a definition of terms. So we identify the term in our own jurisdiction. We define the words as we see fit. So if in your jurisdiction, blacks means death, you can say, okay, well, in our jurisdiction, it means royalty. And we can still continue to identify ourselves as black as we see fit, because now we know that what it meant, what we redefined it to be, and what our ultimate nationality actually is, which is Moroccan. The power, you see the power of knowledge and control that you have when you know thyself. We don't have to run from the word black. We redefine the damn word as royalty so that we can use it as a nickname, if you will, if we like it so much. But then while at the same time still knowing, however, that our protections, our political protections, come from the proper nationality known as Moroccan. That adds power. So let's see what J. Bay's writing looked like behind the scenes. The triple principle means the recognized political status of the Empire of Morocco and its Moorish government's perpetual sovereignty and independence, the integrity of domains and economic liberty without any inequality, as enshrined in the preamble of the Act of Algeciras of 1906 that I just read to you all, and its 123 articles, as a natural correlation with the Madrid Convention of 1880, preamble Article 7 and 15, Article 7, paragraph 2, and 15, paragraph 1. Cujo, pay attention. Where's your body of laws, brother? If you don't have it, come holler at us. We got them. B, Empire of Morocco or Sharifian Empire. What does it mean to us? Means an extensive group of states or countries under a single supreme Moorish authority, the supreme governing state. C, Moorish state government. What does that mean to us? It means a moxen of the empire, a defined territory, a sovereign successor state, or decolonized trust territory that has been reclaimed by a declaration of independence and a deposited constitution. That's Ali Bamu. They're reclaiming Alabama by enacting a Declaration of Independence and depositing their constitution. That's the process, y'all. These aren't opinions. This is fact. And we are doing it, not talking about it, or just not talking about it. D, Moroccan government, Moorish government, or Moxen. What does it mean? It means the same. Right? And then E, Moroccan or Moor, means the de jure nationality of the native Moorish people. That's it. This is our definitions, right? So section 2, preemptory norms of general international law. A, the triple principle is secured and founded upon the sovereign and independence, integrity of domains, and economic liberty of the Empire of Morocco and the Moorish governments. AMPAG, New Mecca, Meru, Ampam, Serum, and Dimti, plus the other political groups forming that are coming on. B, the Empire State, the seat of the Sultan, and the Moroccan courts have recognized the foreign European states, and likewise the European states have recognized the Empire of Morocco and its Moxen through various bilateral and multilateral treaties as absolute recognition, where can be no derogation of the Moors' human rights. This is how you write. This is not a writ. This is not an affidavit. This is legislation. This is a legislative act. Active, not passive. This is active writing that
And
brings us to a state of forward progress. Instead of writs and affidavits and frivolous proclamations that put us in a status of buffering, going in circles without any forward progress. C, the supreme sovereign authority of the empire state, the office of the Sultan, and the competent authority of the Moorish government have been recognized by the ratification and registration of foreign European states pursuant to the articles of the Act of Algeciras. Therefore, none of the Moors' full powers shall not be alienated by any foreigners throughout the Moorish Empire, wherefore anything contrary is ill-founded. I'll stop there. But I'll also say all the political groups forming that's coming into the WRC, decolonizing their trust territories, will receive copies of this law so they can pass it through their state. And they will be taught how to do that. And the cost is your time, your discipline to make it happen. I'll say it again. Knowledge is free at the WRC.
WRC. It's
I yield.
live.
Any other questions or concerns? 11 o'clock, we shutting it down. I'm giving y'all some more. I'll give you a little extra. Yeah. All right. In a few minutes. I know you guys kind of want to know some more things. So any questions or concerns? Who, Joe, you got any questions, brother? I'm just playing. Go ahead, brother. I'm listening. Whoever got a question or concern.
This is Shalette again. I had my hand raised, but you was
Oh,
talking.
okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you're welcome, And I think it's amazing that a lot of people be wanting to get back into establishing these governments and all this type of stuff as far as going back to Morocco, but don't know how. So what you are doing is beyond making history. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like, it's always history, making history, but it's beyond that. You see what I'm saying? But it's just amazing how, like you said, she could, with my grandma, going back to my grandma, like how she could be like, oh, she was right on point. Like I was telling her about it. Because at first, most time when I talk to her, it's be negative sometimes. So I don't want to talk to people. I just stay to myself. But when she called me tonight and asked me that question, and I was like, no, I'm not Muslim, and I don't go to no mosques. I don't do none of that stuff, Grandma. I'm not in the temple, none of that. And I explained it to her. It only took me literally less than 5 minutes to explain what I was trying to explain. And I didn't even get the full details of everything out, and she understood it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me get back to doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I know I have a voice, but I've been so shy as to using my voice to the point where I was shut down. Like, where I'm not using my voice. My throat chakra was blocked. But now I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to use my voice and I'm going to speak because I know my purpose in life and I know my power of my voice. So, and that's another thing I want to do, motivational speaking. So now I'm able to actually be free. I feel at peace within myself. You see what I'm saying? And it's all this is just bringing it all home for me. So I just thank everybody.
Thank you.
I really do. And that's it. I'm done talking tonight.
Therefore, every morning, go in the mirror and practice your speech because you're the speaker of the house, which means the time or the day will come when you will be called upon to speak on behalf of Ali Bamu, Islam.
Islam.
Anyone else?
Ali Bamu.
I love it. Give me some more news. Give me some good news. Amir Kane L raised his hand. That's the Sutra, the Minister of Defense for Alodia Morris Palladium, Ante, Georgia. Go ahead, my good brother. What you got for us?
Well, Islam, everybody. Islam. I just want to make note that in 2000, we went to the UN in 2008 for a convention. And me and my partner was talking to one of the guys that trains the UN forces. Come to my surprise, he made mention to us that every nation state that's part of UN contribute 1% of their gross domestic product to the UN.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another source of revenue for the Moorish Empire.
Mm-hmm.
I yield.
Islam Sutra. Appreciate that excellent point of interest. Somebody else had their hands raised.
just arrived. Pardon the truancy. I just came across this online, and I was just inquiring on how I could gather all the information for the understanding to progress.
You got a pen and paper?
Yes, I'm gonna grab paper now.
You let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I have a pen and I have paper.
A M P
P
A C AMPAG study sessions on YouTube.
Okay.
So you type in AMPAG study sessions on YouTube, bam, you got a bunch of videos to help you with learning these principles. You may also write down AMPAG, which is AMPAG media. Actually, hold on. Yeah, that's fine. You can do it that way. Because when you type in AMPAG study sessions, it pops up. But the YouTube channel is AMPAG Media, right?
Okay.
So then you also have AMPAG Media on YouTube as well, this is the platform that you're on. This is AMPAG Media Sunday discussions, right?
Okay.
So we have Sunday at 7:30, right? Unless we can't, but mostly we can. We do more consistently than now, especially lately, which is good. So it gets recorded like it's being recorded now, and then it gets uploaded to YouTube. So you can attend the class.
Yeah, I'm in a domicile, Morocco, what they call in the Indiana Republic. So there's a lot of changes. Yes, there's a lot of changes that occurred. The capital of Indianapolis, as a matter of fact, the Indianapolis Republic. There's a lot of changes that have occurred. I've been endeavoring strong since about 2016, but it's complicated. So that's why I did my passport, wrapped my hair with my turban, and wrote honoring my forefathers and foremothers so that my day would be long. I did that process, but this right here was just like my ancestors flashed it across the stream because I really wasn't supposed to be on the phone at this time, but for some reason I got on there and it's popped right up, the link.
Well, that's awesome. And the reason why it popped up for you is because you're being called upon. So now it's up to you now to answer the call. Why am I saying that? Okay, I'm saying that because if you've been paying attention to the class, we've got a group of Moors in Alabama who are reclaiming the territory of Alabama, right? Okay, they're establishing a state government and they're reclaiming the territory of Alabama. Well, there's a state in Indiana called Moorish State Republic who have already done it. They're part of the WRC. The founding, the negotiating state, meaning Moorish State Republic was involved in the drafting of the convention, right? And the original signatory power to the convention. The wazir's name is Akil Bey. Brother Akil, are you on the call still? He was on it earlier. So you can make contact with good brother Akil and you can go join, you can work with Moorish State Republic, which by the way, he also teaches classes on YouTube, which is Meru, MERU State Republic. That's the name of the channel on YouTube.
How would I find him here in the domicile, or how would I locate him?
I guess he's not on the call at the moment.
Is there any way I can give you a contact or shoot a contact through an email or?
I'm trying to think, because I don't want to give you my number on the call or his number on the call.
If I gave you my email, could we converse with me? I have no problem giving that out online.
Okay. Yeah. Let me write it down, and then I'll just have him contact you.
Oh, that would be great. Graciousness.
What's the email?
So it's power, POWER. Underscore. O as in outstanding, F as in force, underscore, the number 1, N as in nomination, E as in eternal, S as in super, S as in soul. Power of oneness at yahoo.com. Power underscore of underscore oneness at yahoo.com. And it's Brother
Okay, so
Monty, Monti.
it's power _of_ number 1 and then NESS
That's correct.
at yahoo.com. What was the name?
Monti, Monty as in mountain.
Okay, Monty. Oh, as in mountain. Well, that's interesting because Meru is based on the Meru Mountain. Oh, Lord. This is just beautiful. Somebody had a point of interest. I could hear it in the background.
Yes, that's point of interest. That's Prime Minister Benicia Bay. Monty, I just sent all 3 study sessions. You have Meru State, AMPAG, and AMPAG in the chat. If you just press on those links real quick to go on your YouTube, you can definitely save it and go ahead and subscribe to them.
Oh wow. Well, thank you so kindly. Miss just copy them and send them to myself here. Wow, thank you so kindly. Excited.
And this is what the AMPAG Media platform is about. It's not just presenting the information that we need to uplift all in humanity and decolonize, but also the network, right? It's a network. We also have the Telegram. I'm not sure if Hakeem, could you please post the Telegram link on the
Islam. I just posted it as you were mentioning it.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Appreciate it. So you can grab that Telegram link and join the Telegram group. Is there anyone, especially a female, more particularly, in the territory of North Carolina? Put the word out that we need a female, a matriarch, to assist in the territory of North Carolina to help assist Serum. So if anyone put the word out, right? Because, and it ain't just Serum, we all need help. We need competent Moors to come in and assist. And I don't care if you're a Black Moor, I don't care, none of that. The only thing I care about is that, the only thing that we care about is that you follow the directions and the instructions that we give you. Trust us as you build up with your erudition. Because, and the reason why you can trust us, for one, we ain't charging you. We ain't got nothing to gain other than decolonization. That's number 1. And number 2 is what we're doing. We're not doing anything else other than what we're telling you to do, or showing you to do, or teaching you on what to do. Right? With reference points. So we've got the reference points to prove why it is that we got to do it the way we got to do it. It's not something we're making up, but following the instructions of international law. Ensure that everything that we're doing is competent based on international law. We stick strictly to the fence. That's the reason why certain state governments and political groups have been excommunicated, because they refuse to do things in conformity with international law. And they wanted to still continue to sell packages. We ain't having that. Go ahead, brother.
Islam. Also, New Mecca is looking for a consulate general, male or female. And again, as you get your erudition, you can help us a lot. So anyone interested in the so-called Oregon territory, you can give, let's see.
Put it in the chat.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you.
Well, welcome, Wifey. This is Amir Hassan El from New Mecca, Allodium Moorish Palladium of New Mecca, which has reclaimed the trust territory known as the Chartered Colony of Oregon. Yes, it is it is a corporation, but the proper status is a chartered colony as a corporation, right? I see some more hands up. Go ahead. And by the way, just chime on in. Don't wait for me, just because I may not see your hand and you'll just be sitting there with your hands up. Your hands are going to get tired and then you're going to put them down. So you might as well just talk. So have at it, y'all.
Islam. I just want everyone also to be aware, you can also go and download the United Nations Journal app. It is keeping you updated with the news with the United Nations.
You're gonna have to repeat that again, sister, because in the midst of you speaking, there was some interference.
Oh, Islam. I was speaking on United Nations has a journal app that you guys can go and download to keep up with the latest news with the United Nations. That's just a suggestion. Islam.
Islam, just thank you, Wazir. Wazir Oxidine.
Yes, Islam.
Islam. What's the name of the app?
It's the journal app. I'll sit here and screenshot it and put it in the chat box. Islam.
Islam.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And the sister that was speaking, that's the Wazir of Al Carolina, right? Which is reclaiming the territory of the trust territory of the charter colony in South Carolina.
Yes, Islam.
Islam. Gratitude for your hard work, discipline, and perseverance, right? But the highlight here is it's a matriarch. Wazir, head of state, female. See, according to our jurisdiction, the female shall be empowered. And the ultimate empowerment to the matriarchs is the fact that we have all signed off on the Constitution, which was established as in such a way, whereas, and listen to this, Cujo, this is for you, my brother, the legislative branch is represented only by the matriarchs. And each matriarchal council member, or Dalil Aziz, or the council itself, I should say, maximum can compose of 13 matriarchs maximum, right? A maximum of 13 matriarchs is what I should say, is how I should say it. And no men are allowed in that branch of government, while at the same time, the matriarchs can also still hold the other two branches. So the men are limited to two. That would be the executive and judicial branch, whereas the matriarchs can hold all three of those bad boys. Talk about bringing back the matriarchal society back to the forefront, huh? See, they can't call us dirty Moors, so they got to find something else to attack. I love it. Go ahead, whoever else.
Peace, brother. Great session tonight. Every time I get on with you guys, I learn something. But I wanted to say, I heard from brother Amir Canel that the matriarch was starting South Carolina, and as you know, that's so now I'm looking forward to growing with this movement. The brother, I think he was from Massachusetts, earlier said the magic word, and that's decolonization. If we as a group can put all the Moorish energy into that word as states, I believe that brother is on to something, because that is the word of the century, decolonization. That's why I even when I heard you the first time teach, that word is what stuck with me. Decolonization. I was 53 years old when I heard about the Moors. I was at that same age when I heard about Noble Drew Ali, and when
what's going on? Something happened to your phone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Islam. His phone was fine. It's Brother Kirk, who's unmuted and was typing, I think.
Okay. But as I was saying, the brother is on to something. I'm looking forward to bringing South Carolina territory online, Carolina, and I'm looking to assist this sister and the other the other government officials, and we're gonna see if we can't help this cause, man. So continue what you're doing, man. You not skip the beat. Every time I hear you, man, it's like it gets clearer and clearer. So I bid you love, light, law, and clarity, brother. Peace to everyone.
Islam, good brother. Islam.
Islam, good brother.
Islam.
For those kind words. Sister Oxidine, would you like to put your information in the chat so that Brother Shemu could get access to your information so he can make contact with you to help move forward with South Carolina?
Yes, Islam.
Oh, what I'm talking about. Networking, right? There's nowhere else to go but above. But up. You're already in the dump. Where else we gonna go? Phoenix that rose from the ashes. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's Palmer Bay.
Mhm.
We gotta tell Brother Cujo that this is the proper way of get documentation, not from your temple, but from your state.
Right.
So he need to do some more research.
Yeah, well, I helped him out with some reference points, didn't I?
Right, you surely did.
You need to do some research. You need to do some studying. And by the way, Islam, brother, this is the Haji Minister of Foreign Affairs for Al Andalusia, which is a political group of Moors who are reclaiming the trust territory of Florida. How many did I just mention? I just mentioned 3, 4 of them.
Islam to that.
Man, we moving forward, man. Ain't nothing stopping this
Islam.
train.
Long live the empire. Islam.
Long live it. Long live it.
You know that's what they say in Star Wars. Long live
I
the
know.
Empire.
The Klingons, bruh. The
Yes.
Klingons.
It's so funny that he said that. That's exactly what they say in Star Wars. Long live the Empire.
The
They've
Klingons
been
are
talking
more.
about us for the longest, man. They've been
That's
talking
right.
about it. You know? Because in there they talk about the Republic, which
They
is
talk
this
about the Republic. Exactly. That's
and they
Star
talk
Wars.
about the Empire.
And Star Wars talk about what's one of the episodes? The Empire Strikes Back, don't it?
The Empire Strike Back. And that's what we're doing right now.
We're striking back.
I think they know. I think they know this was coming. They know it was coming.
All they did was stall it with the Negro leaders. That's all they did. They just caused the delay. But it was coming. It was due to come regardless. Like, you can't stop what's coming. The truth is odd. It never will pass away. And it requires no apologies.
You know,
and
once I heard Farrakhan a long time ago talk about Noble Jew Ali. And, you know, but it dawned on me when he said that, because at the same time, Farrakhan know the truth because his leader was a Moor. He know the truth, but he would rather call the people and black people, call them all other kinds of names out of their nationality, and instead of just, you know, say, okay, we are Moorish people. He talk about the black men, you know, all these marching on Washington he did with 1 million man march. Oh Lord. Why didn't he just raise the flag and say we are Moorish people?
Right.
It would have been so clear. The people would have get it from even back then. They would have get it. But no, that don't make money. What makes money is you being black. That's what line their pocket with money. So you know they're working for the other side.
No doubt.
Because they know the truth and they conceal it. Did you know that when he was trying to go to Libya, go meet Gaddafi, did you know he went to the Moorish Science Temple and get his document?
Mm-hmm.
They were telling him that he couldn't. Oh yeah, he went there and get his document.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even worse, the most egregious part is the other part of that story, that he was meeting with Gaddafi. And Gaddafi was an international jurist, and there's no way in hell that Gaddafi did not put Farrakhan on game about decolonization.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean, so all these people, they got what's coming to them. What we got to do here is focus on decolonizing, taking back control of the empire, entering into contractual agreements with the colonists, or should I say the foreign Americans, pursuant to Article 105 and 106 of the Act of Algeciras, right? And have them work with us by way of contract to reopen Alcatraz. And guess what? Moroccan law shall reign supreme. Article 102, fines, penalties, and confiscations shall be imposed on foreigners and Moorish subjects by the competent authority of Morocco. But we need a jail to enforce our laws. So that's being discussed. We will have prisons, and the United States will supply the prisons. Y'all got to remember, Morocco controls America, not the other way around. What we say goes. And how do we say it? To make it law, we put it in writing as legislation. Islam, any other questions or concern before we close out? It's already 11.
Islam.
Islam.
This is still grand. The reopening of Alcatraz. May I be the honorary member to or honorary guest or official to cut the yellow ribbon?
You should. You shall have that privilege, Sutra.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Hold on, Mike.
Yes.
Islam. I forgot what I was about to say. My son asked me about this food. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to do my train of thought.
All right.
About can you do me a favor, Abdul, and can you announce the states, the 7 states that are already officially established as far as their Moroccan states are concerned?
Yes.
Thank you.
In sequential order of establishment, it would be Alodia Moorish Treaty, Monte, Colorado, also known as AMPAG. Keeping in mind, ante means before. So it's free Mauritius states before Colorado, before Georgia, ante, Colorado, right? So the name in it of itself is letting the colonists know that we was here before you, sir. So get in line, sir, right? So that's AMPAG, reclaim Colorado. Then after that, it was the Wazir that's on the line, Amir Hassan Il, the Lodia Moorish Paradum of New Mecca, reclaiming Oregon. After them, it was us, Alodia Moorish Paradum Monte, Georgia, right? AMPAG, replacing or reclaiming Georgia. After that, it was Maru State Republic, Ante, Indiana, Akil Bay. After that, it was Vimti, right? Which is reclaiming Texas.
Actually, more. It was
Pam Pam?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. So the Lodian Moroccan Paradum Monte, Michigan, reclaiming Michigan. Wazir Miamor Bay, female matriarch. I'm proud to say that.
Oregon.
I already mentioned Oregon. That's New Mecca.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then,
Texas, yeah.
That I'm still naming states because after Ampam, it's DMT, Ante, Texas, headed by Camden Bay, right? Then after that, it was it's Serum, Saru State Republic of Morocco, which is Ante, North Carolina, and it's headed by Wazir Aziz Hano Bay. And those are the 7 states, current recognized states.
Islam.
It's Ante, Florida, Ante, New York, Ante,
Islam.
Alabama, Massachusetts, Las Vegas. Pay attention, Cujo, Ontario coming online. Ontario coming online. Massachusetts, Lord, have mercy. Arkansas. Go ahead, sister. Or somebody. I thought someone had
Thank you. I just had you do that for the guy that just came in that was asking about it, that was trying to get Aquil's information. because I know a lot of people have questions, and that helps out a lot knowing that it's already 7 states that are already official. So that's why I did that.
Okay. Islam, just appreciate that.
I
Yeah.
have one point of interest. It's a shout out to Alabama Move. I'm really, really glad to hear that statehood is emerging. Alabama and the territory Alabama and Mississippi, they're they were like in the toilet bowl, and so I was really concerned about and so now that there's Alabama Move, and you got a strong say Raha there, and that sister. I appreciate you, and I appreciate y'all emergence coming up. The question I have for you, Mr. Chairman, is that I have a young brother on the audio on the line who asked the question of pertaining to the class action suits when all the states could come together and we go to the International Court of Justice and all that. How is that financed? Where does the money come from to get into a litigation, long litigation with the United States? I yield.
Good question. Man, that's an excellent question. No one ever asked that before. First and foremost, let me say this for the record. I am indeed a privileged and humble servant of the people, right?
Sure.
However, I'm just the people. We're all in this together. We're all in this fight together. I just happen to have a title. My point in saying this is, you could just call me if you want to refer to me as Mr. Chairman, that's cool too. But just for the record, so everyone know, Abdul is fine. I'm just another brother from another mother, bro.
You
know
got
what I
it,
mean?
Abdul.
So all right, so I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. But what I will say is this. Hold on one second, sister, real quick. What I will say is this. We have discussed who would be representing us, right? And how would that look? And on an international level, first of all, the international attorney do not necessarily have to be of the same nationality of the state that they're representing, right? So you could have a Frenchman representing the Moroccan Empire. It doesn't matter. And on an international level, from what I understand, and don't quote me on it, I don't have the reference point for it, but for what I understand, they would represent you, and then the compensation may come later. So, but also as it relates to the empire, any international jurists already know what it is. And they all know what we're talking about. And they all know that if we were to come back into power, especially as it relates to the case law established by the case between France and the United States in 1952, we got this thing on lock. It's an open and shut case, really.
Yeah.
There's no losing here. So any one of them will be more than happy to take on the case with a contractual agreement stipulating the compensation based upon the monies that's owed by the United States, if you understand what I'm saying. So
Perfectly.
Those things have been discussed from that regard, but to directly answer your question, I don't even know, man. I'm just focused on decolonization and putting chess pieces together and bringing the people in because we need the people. That's more important right now than ever. we're not looking at nothing until the end of next year. And what's taking place in the American jurisdiction the end of next year? This time next year.
This time next year.
Election. Yeah, election.
Election year. Interesting timing, isn't it? I hope I answered your
And
question, bro.
who's coming? And who's coming?
I'm sorry, someone, you said something?
Yes, and I said, and who is coming? Their President Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it's Trump, I'm of the mindset that decolonization will get that much easier.
That much quicker. Oh yeah, his pen will work for us. Yeah.
I believe.
But the question was answered very, very well and authentically and from your heart. And thank you for welcoming me to, just calling you as a homeboy from down the way. And
yes, sir.
But it was my brother that's on the line that's listening to considering being a part of the anti-Massachusetts. And that was the question he had. And I am satisfied with that answer. And I think he will have felt it as well. I yield.
That's on, brother. Appreciate you. Gratitude for your continued support and participation. It's always beautiful
Thank
hearing
you.
you speak, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just a homie, man.
From around the way. Yeah.
From around the way, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm more hip hop than you, probably. I swear I am.
Islam.
Islam, bro. Anyone else? We're gonna go ahead and close out. Okay, go ahead.
My iPad about to die. I'm finna get off here, y'all. Islam, and thank y'all.
No, if you had a point of interest, we're all ears.
No, I'm good. My iPad finna die.
Oh, okay. I'm killing her battery. That sounds good, man. You know, that's
Islam, sister.
That's that Moroccan.
Islam to the whole,
that's that Moroccan power
to the whole panel tonight. I'm out as well.
Islam.
Islam, man.
We'll be at it again next week. And so to close out, I'm serious. Let's talk about it. Why be at each other's throats? Why beef about liberation? Right? Consider that there's another perspective to what Noble was trying to bring us. After all, he did give us an implied task. That implied task was to determine, find out, identify what was the other half that wasn't told. Because the Moors never explored the other half that wasn't told. For some reason, we've never been curious to determine what is this other half that he's talking about that's going to turn our brains into water, that's going to put us back to sleep. What is he talking about? Nobody was curious about that. What was the information that was going to tear us up? It's this. And why is it going to tear us up? Because it's a lot of work. A lot of administrative reforms that goes involved with decolonization. Right? And you got to be ready for it. That's why we're calling out for help. We need help. It's for our own people. It's for our posterity, our future generations, our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren. Keeping in mind that when the youth grab hold of this information, the same way they grab hold of hip hop, it's over with for real, for real, for real. And it's up to us to bear the burden on behalf of them. Somebody got to mute their mics, please, if you don't mind. It's incumbent upon us to bear that weight on their behalf, so that when they come of age, they have something to call home, that they can have the mothership would already be in full operation and navigation. They can just jump in and start navigating instead of having to build it all up. Let's go ahead and do it now. And let your children and your grandchildren take it to the next level. Because when they get their hands on it, the important part is to instill in them and impress upon them the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The philosophy of loving instead of hating. That's what that ideology, those principles bring you into your higher self. And that's what's required to be a competent government official in such a way that puts us in a position where we would maintain the empire, control over the empire from here on out forever, all through eternity, never lose it again. But we first have to get back into the driver's seat, Cujo, and we need your help. We need, see, Rosmariah, Cujo, Lamont, Jamal, Taj, Abdullah, the likes, right? Nature Ill. These people are sharp. Super sharp. I mean, that's why I was locked in with them when I was Moorish American. These are some sharp, brilliant Moors. But you're taking the Moors in the wrong direction, whether knowingly or unknowingly. I'm of the mindset and assumption that it's unknowingly, you're unconsciously leading the Moors in the wrong direction. So I'll put out a plea for you all to at least look at the reference point so you can have a better understanding as to what it is that we're talking about, right? Come together and let's huddle, come together in a round table, discuss those reference points, and let's see how we can work together on behalf of your children, your future generations, your grandchildren, your family, your friends. The selfless act of uplifting fallen humanity. This is not about an individual process of me winning in my one whatever case in court that can potentially come up again anyway. So I beat the driver, the speeding ticket, but I'm gonna get caught doing something. Well, how about we just get out of their jurisdiction, period? Come back home into our jurisdiction and control them from our jurisdiction. We need to establish the jurisdictions. The only way to establish it is by establishing a state. Now, when your state, once the state and the empire is back in operation now, it's a clear distinction now, right, in real time between the Moroccan jurisdiction and the American jurisdiction. The problem is that right now, up until now, that clear distinction never was available. All everyone knows is the American jurisdiction, even though the Moroccan jurisdiction was always available. The problem is that it was in a shallow grave, and everyone has been misguided and misinformed about such history. So now we bring it back into full power that establishes two different jurisdictions. Now suddenly, in real time, we have two jurisdictions that everyone knows about. Oh, this is the Moroccan jurisdiction, and oh, this is the American jurisdiction. And I wonder which jurisdiction you would choose. And I know which jurisdiction you all would choose. You would say, "Oh, damn, I think I might have to go to the Moroccan jurisdiction." Yeah, I think you might want to do that. Let's make this point even clearer. When we go to the ICJ, the case will be styled as Empire of Morocco versus the United States of America. So the Empire of Morocco will be at the ICJ going against the United States of America. Cujo, Taj, Rosmariah, Lamont, Jamal, all the Grand Sheiks, all the Moorish Americans, all the diehard Moorish Americans. When you see that case on C-SPAN, Morocco versus America, who will you be rooting for? I bet you they'll be rooting for Morocco, which proves in it of itself that, yes, indeed, good brothers and sisters, you are Moroccan, not Moorish Americans. It's two separate entities, two separate nations. And the time is going to come when you're going to have to choose between those two. Either you're going to remain in American jurisdiction, or you're going to repatriate and come back into Moroccan jurisdiction. The choice is yours. However, know this, if you were to remain in American jurisdiction, you still must get permission from the Moroccan government. With that, I yield. Class next week. We'll see you then. Thank you for your attendance. And may the blessings of Allah be upon you all. Peace and love, everybody.
Islam.
Islamism, peace and love, family.
Islam.
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 Islam to my brother North Star.
Islam, my good brother. Peace and love, everybody.